Hello, hello. You guys let me know if you can hear me okay as we get set up. Lacrimel Quietus, Double King, good to see you guys. Sam, all right. Hey, how's it going? So we are currently in the home stretch of the Nimble Kickstarter backer kit campaign, Nimble 2. You can hear me? Fantastic, loud and clear. Hey, Angela. What I'm going to be doing today is going to be sort of a free form stream. I'm working on the books anyway. Figured I might as well be streaming. I've already been working on it today for a few hours, and I just want to share what I'm working on. I'll also be going over some of the feedback document from Discord and some of the more recent feedback. Hey, Tusky. Hey. So we'll be going over some of the feedback stuff, and if there isn't anything else, once we're through with that, then I might start implementing some of the editorial notes that Angela's been working on. So appreciate her help. She's been helping with editing as well as a few other people. So we'll be going over that. She's been currently focusing on the core rules. And then we're going to move over to the GM guide. And then once all of that's done, I'm going to open it up to a larger group of people on the Discord to leave whatever comments that they might have. So just so you guys can see that, right? Yeah. Just so you guys can see. So we've got InDesign has this cool way where I can share a link, and like I can get feedback on like specific areas, like for smaller things. So might be going over some of that if we have time today. So that's what we're doing. Let's take a look at where we are currently. I've been adding to the appendix of inspiration. I don't think we're going to get 2 spreads of inspiration or like additional things. It might not be appendix of inspiration. It might be like other cool things. So since like not everything here has like inspired me necessarily, but I would say they are like cool things. We got Return of the Lazy Dungeon Master, Knave, Forge of Foes, Monsters Know What They're Doing by Keith Ammon, Flea Mortals. You guys have never seen The Monsters Know What They're Doing. It's a big chonker of a book. Let's go to where's my mouse? There it is. It's a big chonker of a book, if you can see. But it's really cool how Keith takes stat blocks, like just straightforward, simple stat blocks from 5e, and like he puts a lot of thought into like, okay, this stat block means this monster would act this way and do this, and it's sort of does some cool stuff. So that's a cool book. Mouse Rider, Oz, and Neverland. If you guys have never seen those are right there. And then there's a new one. What is it? Wonderland. Oh yeah, Alice in Wonderland. So like, I don't really care about The Wizard of Oz or Peter Pan or Alice in Wonderland. I don't care about those stories, but as far as like D&D settings, like awesome stuff. Like, and I don't even care about those settings. So Andrew Kolb is a genius. And then there's a Mothership. I just yesterday was the first time I ever looked at the Mothership. Oh, here it is, at Mothership. And I kind of hate horror stuff. I don't really like horror stuff. But as far as like quality content, the GM guide, the Warden's Operation Manual is like fantastic. It's been fantastic. And then there's Dragontown. JP Couvert has really inspired me a lot. So been working on that. I've got some plans for the 5e conversion stuff. Most of the work has been with the adventures. Most of the work has been with the adventures. So I need to clean up. The framework stuff, and I added a bunch of. Where is it? I added a bunch. Let's scroll to the top. I had a bunch of cool, like unique encounters. Like so for instance, like most encounters start with heroes and bad guys aware of each other, within 1 or 2 moves apart, and they feature like 2 to 4 level appropriate enemies per hero, and they will generally fight to the death, right? So that is like a typical encounter. Hey, Matthias, good to see you. Terry, Brandon, Good to see you guys. Most encounters, so that is like the typical vanilla encounter, like the meat and potatoes of the encounter. So this formula works, but changing it up from time to time can make for more memorable encounters. So we have we give up. Enemies who give up and run away once their numbers are fewer than the heroes, they may or may not return during the next encounter. Or impending doom. Try an encounter that would be otherwise far too difficult, but the heroes get an extra round or two before the enemies can properly engage. Maybe the enemies have no range attack and they're starting very far away, or the enemies that need to wake up or charge up before acting. There's Grudge Match. This is one of my favorites. An otherwise easy encounter, but all of the bad guys only attack one or maybe two heroes. Perhaps that hero has a bounty on their head, or they've offended a warlord, or maybe that hero is cursed, so the enemies can only attack that hero. It's like even like a super tanky like Berserker or Oathsworn or something, if every enemy is only attacking that hero, like the tactics all of a sudden change entirely if you don't want that guy to die. But you have to make sure the players know ahead of time like what's going on, so it's not like, well, what in the world did I do to offend Evan? Hey, Trick, good to see you, man. So like really fun different encounters. There's Capture Flag, there's Defend the Fort. Pitch black, monsters attack in the dark. Heroes can't see. Any light sources are magically snuffed out. Tight quarters, unusually small room or platform or location crowded with obstacles. Lots of really cool. A betrayal. Have an allied NPC suddenly turn on the heroes mid-fight, either temporarily or permanently. Mana Storm. All spells have reduced mana cost, or maybe they even cost 0 mana, and you can just have that as an encounter. Or maybe casting spells might damage the caster instead. Split the party. You can physically split the party in different interesting ways. There's charmed allies, interlopers, moving hazards. So lots of really cool different encounter types that you can have. So I've been working on that. What else have we been working on? Been working about on this what to avoid thing. So like we don't want to roll too frequently. So like when should you roll? When there's tension or uncertainty. When should you not roll? With trivial task, repetitive task, or with story critical moments. Like when something has to happen for the story to continue, don't roll for that. That happens, right? When you're describing things, be brief with your information, but not stingy. So like players need enough information to make a choice. Like, so instead of like, well, do you go left or do you go right? Like you flip a coin. Like what's the difference between left and the right, right? But so you don't want to be stingy with information. But you also don't want to be say like, well, to the left there's like, oh, this whole long page of text, and to the right there's a whole like, no, to the left there's like this weird smell, and to the right you hear a strange sound. Like, so that's enough information for the players to like start asking questions. Well, how strange is the sound, or what is this smell? Does it remind me of anything? They can start engaging, asking questions, and like they dictate like what is interesting, and then they have enough information to ask for more, or make choices from there. Don't let players behind the screen. Don't roll too rigidly. So there's a what to avoid section. I wanted to keep it to one page, but I think there's enough information to where we might be able to bring it to a full spread. We'll see about that. I think it's just as useful, or maybe more useful, to look at like the things not to do than it is to like do all these things positively. I think we might reconfigure like the number one rule. It's like when in doubt, rule in favor of the heroes. I think that's an important rule, but is that the most important rule? I don't think so. I don't think that's the most important rule. I think rule 2 and rule 3, I think those are fine. So we're going to be making some small tweaks to some of these things. But yeah, so that's where. All right, let's go and open up. The feedback document real quick. Let's see where things are. If there's anything there that we can start working on, then we'll start working on that. That page is good stuff. Oh, cool. Appreciate it, Shrek. Angela, you are all the ones doing the good work. I'm just helping make. Yeah, appreciate it. And I went through this morning and made like 200 or 300 typo fixes. Doing spell check and changing things. So hopefully that'll make your job a little bit easier once we get to the core rules, Angela. Or once we get to the GM guide. The core rules, I didn't do any spell check, unfortunately. I should have. Paul says, will the 5e conversion need to change for 2024? No, not really. No, not really. 2024 didn't really change a whole lot as far as this is concerned. Okay, Commander, could weapon masteries be listed in alphabetical order? Bludgeoning, piercing, slashing. Let's go to the heroes real quick. So we did make some layout changes here. So that might be obviated already. So it is currently slashing, bludgeoning, piercing, just because the bludgeoning is a longer text. So just to make sure everything is balanced, things are in that order. So that is something that's going to stay. But now we have commanders, orders, and combat tactics both under combat abilities for clarity, since some people were asking about that. So it goes unarmored, heavier. So yeah, the order is more of a layout type of thing than anything else. Shadowmancers get their second greater invocation earlier than the second lesser one. Maybe it's a naming problem. So I think this is fine. I'm not going to worry too much about that one too much. People person could be widened in scope for the Songweaver. Right now, the characters feel like examples of what the ability could be, but are unrelated to the campaign. It would be cool if the Songweaver could summon allies and legends from the current setting. So I think opening it up for, I think we did have that in an earlier draft. We definitely do have. So we do have this. So flavors for if you'd rather have more traditional bard type. So we do have that already. Let's see. Would be a fantastic role-playing tool to help better tie the transforming the named allies into archetypes. A big guy healer. Yeah. It'd be amazing if the Songweaver could mix and match different traits to narrate a story, just like Stormshifter can mix and match. Yeah. Sorry for missed an update, but have you said when the Foundry VTT support will be available? That is as so. Phil and Necro are working on that, and it's quite far along. But for the VTT stuff, like they're working on that, and Phil just had a baby, or his wife had a baby, so they're understandably busy. But it's very far along. We should be able to once I know more, you guys will know more. So soon, but not quite yet. Some basic guidance on how to create your own NPC to summon. You know, I might add that. So like for like cooking things like that, where I have to sort of sit and think and do some writing. Those are things I usually don't stream too much. But I'll leave that unchecked for now, and I might add that later. Who's this? Oh, we got Double King. Hey, Double King. Core rolls, open-ended. Flavor rolls feel bad. So I think I'm going to leave that how it is. I do. So this was already. So this Play Dead one was already fixed. So we don't need to worry about that. But some of the open-ended ones, they really appeal to a lot of people. Yeah. So I really do like some of the more open-ended things. Leaving it to the table and the GM to do what they want. So I'm going to leave those. If people don't like those, they don't have to choose those. If I've misunderstood this feedback, someone let me know. But I think so. Having a few of those like very open-ended background type of things, I think is good for mini tables. Most spells damage doesn't scale up casting. Okay, so this is a good one. Let's actually talk about this one. Spells become less effective. I think I have to move it over. Spells become less effective the more you level up. So I did see this post earlier, and I think it was. So I think Matt had some examples here. Let's pull that up real quick. Yeah. Does anybody know if I can I hide this bar? Can I hide this this sidebar? You guys tell me if we can hide that sidebar. Double King says there have been a lot of people who said they're going to homebrew the people person stuff at their table, but that should be an indication it needs some guide rails. Yeah. That's not a bad idea. We do have space here for that, and if I go ahead and make a box here, go ahead and make a box. People. Guidelines for making your own people. So that's enough for me to remember. Go back and add some notes there. That entry is not about open-ended entries, but open-ended entries that require a role. They're a bit more niche and explain. Okay, I'll check it out. So I think I might have misunderstood that. Does anybody know if we can hide this? Can we hide this bar? Maybe not. Okay, so let's take a look at this real quick, because the mathy things I think are interesting and important. Okay, so most of the damage spells upcast scaling is in stats other than damage. Yeah, so as you except for like the cantrips, except so cantrips generally will scale damage wise, and other things will damage. You can only shrink it if I remember. Okay, I don't think it's let me shrink it. It doesn't matter. So yeah, so if we look at the spells. Flame Dart does more damage. Heart's Fire, extra range. Ignite deals more damage. Um, Enchant Weapon deals more damage. Flame Barrier deals more damage. Pyroclasm increases reach. Fire Embrace increases reach. Living Inferno increases +2 speed for the duration. So it makes you faster. So it's more of a utility thing. You're casting this spell and this spell, so it makes you faster, so you can move around and do the things you need to do. Dragon form, it's tier 9. You can't. There's no upgrade. So we have damage, prevent damage, damage. So a lot of the spells do increase in damage, and if you notice, most of the spells that increase damage are single target spells. So increasing damage for AoE spells is particularly dangerous, and something I want to be careful about. Not that we won't add it, but increasing damage for AoE spells risks people over relying upon them. So like AoE spells and single target spells have their lane, and I want to make sure I protect the lanes that they're in. I'll get to more of this as well. So the vast majority of damage spells upcasting scaling is in stats other than damage. So I would say half or 2/3. 1, 2, 3. So like 3 of them for here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like roughly half of them. It looks like roughly half of them deal more damage as you get higher levels, as you upcast them. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so half to a third maybe. Um, 1. Yeah, so wind is just a lot more utility. 1. 1. Reach. Yeah, so radiant isn't really super offensive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so 7. Yeah, so roughly half of the spells will upcast to deal more damage, but some do increase the reach or range. The easiest thing to do is just upcast it, do more damage. So that is the easiest sort of thing to do, and that might be the right answer. As we get into the math, we'll talk about that, but that may not be the best answer, right? So if let's just stick with a fire spell. So if Pyroclasm deals the most damage at any tier, and it deals AoE, and it does this, then people will lean very, very heavily on Pyroclasm, even potentially with like a single target, right? So is that the kind of thing that we want? Maybe, maybe not. I would probably prefer not, right? Um, so, the upcasting Pyroclasm is something that you would only do sometimes. So the theory behind Centuric, the theory behind the philosophy behind it is each spell should be the best spell in a certain situation, right? So like no spell should be the best spell in every situation. That's unfun. Like you might as well just not have any other spells. There's essentially only one spell. So that is a philosophy behind it. So sometimes you want to be able to cast this AoE that deals a decent amount of damage. That sometimes you can just make creatures automatically fail, and sometimes you want to make it a really large AoE. In that case, Pyroclasm and the upcasting Pyroclasm is the single best thing you can do. Other times using another something like Frost Nova or Glacier Strike might be the best AoE spell that you can cast, right? Um, so as you so I'm sort of like gathering my thoughts as I speak. So I hope you guys will bear with me. So in counterbalance states that the number of monsters should stay in the same ballpark as the number of plays. So sometimes, if you are facing, so with normal monsters, the guidelines say that you should have like 2 to 4 level appropriate monsters per hero, right? And as long as the levels equal out, then you can have anywhere in that range. If you have, 1 or fewer monsters per hero, then you should probably lean toward a legendary encounter. If you have more than that, then you should, at least some portion of those should be minions. So it's not that it's always, more monsters than heroes. Mini encounters can have many fewer monsters than heroes. Mini encounters can have more. So, um, you may be facing more and more enemies where AOE spells have more utility. But if you're facing a single enemy, then the AOE spell might be less viable or less interesting. So the hit points of baddies continues to increase as you level, but your spells generally don't actually increase in effectiveness. So the hit points of baddies do generally increase as you level. But alternatively, you might just be facing more. So one of the options is for the hit points of the bad guys to increase. So as you increase in levels, we'll just look at creatures without armor. So as you increase in level, the hit points generally do increase, right? So like if you're level 10, you can face 1 level 10 monster and he'll have 118 hit points. Or at level 20, you can face 2 level 10 monsters. Or 1 level 20 monster. So those are equivalent. So it's not necessarily that the number of hit points increases, the number of monsters might increase. So AoE spells don't need to scale as rapidly as like single target spells. Because AoE spells, their damage increases the more monsters that you hit, right? And a big part of the fun with AoE spells is the tactical positioning, getting allies out of the area that you want to attack, and getting as many bad guys as you can into the area. Um, that is sort of like a big part of the fun of AoE spells. Like I need to move here, but I also need all 3 actions to be able to cast this. Well, then the commander can give me free movement, or the Zephyr can help me place me in the right spot because I'm next. So a lot of the AoE stuff is really needs teamwork. Whereas like in 5e, like you can just like I fireball all of those guys who are way over there. Like it doesn't need any setup. You don't need any teamwork. You just do that. And a lot of times fireball is just the best spell just to cast as often as you possibly can. This is sometimes correct, but it's not necessarily correct. This is kind of true. Pyroclasm. So at level 8, yes, you'll be dealing, Pyroclasm if you're facing monsters with 91 hit points. So what is that? Monster of the night. So if you're facing like a bunch of level 8 monsters, then yeah, you'll do a third. You'll do a third of their hit points. 31%. At level 18, are you going to be casting Pyroclasm, or might you instead be casting Living Inferno? Right, because that gives you 2 casts of Pyroclasm, right? That gives you 2 casts of Pyroclasm, and then will you be facing level 18 monsters, or might you be facing twice as many level 9 monsters, right? So the comparison isn't exactly 1-to-1. I don't think. So if you are facing, if at level 18 you're facing 1 level 18 monster per hero, then yeah, you don't want to be using Pyroclasm. That is a suboptimal. You're going to be doing a minority. You're going to be doing minimal damage. But at level 18, if you're facing 2 level 9 heroes or monsters per hero, then rather than Pyroclasm might be a great option, but then Living Inferno is probably a far better option. In that case, you're going to be doing something like 40. You'll be doing like 44% of those monsters' hit points. Or if it's level 9, you'll be doing like something like 60. I think it's like 60% of their hit points. Spread across like multiple monsters, you can be dealing truckloads of damage without increasing without needing to scale the AoE damage in the same way. So the different AoE spells, they have different utilities. So Storm Strike, that moves you. So this one you have to move and do it. This one lets you reposition as you cast a spell. This one lets you move other enemies or allies when you cast it. So like each one sort of has a different best place, best sort of scenario. So that said, I definitely appreciate the feedback. And Double King says it's bad feeling for caster to be high level and be like, oh, my old spells don't keep up. I really only have these few higher level spells. So at high levels, if you're doing a single target thing, then Flame Dart keeps up. Ignite definitely keeps up. Enchant Weapon keeps up. Flame Barrier keeps. So like a lot of these spells do keep up, but you need to design very carefully around AoE spells because they can very quickly not only keep up but outpace everything else, and even in situations where that is suboptimal. So what about upcasting Pyroclasm? Because upcasting it, because Double King, Matt does make a really good point. Upcasting Pyroclasm, a lot of times, it makes it like actively worse, So I did see some of the feedback was around, well, what if we could do, multiple things? For instance, like if we go down to heal, like heal has like a bunch of different modes, and that is like a very unique thing, and I think a really cool thing about heal, because in 5e there's a lot of different ways you need to heal, and there's a bunch of different healing spells, and rather than having a bunch of different healing spells, there's this one spell that you can use very, very flexibly. But the difference between heal and all these different damaging spells is there's a lot of different damaging spells, right? So we don't need that kind of flexibility because a mage is going to have like 20 different damaging spells or a dozen different damaging spells. But if you do want to like customize how you cast spells, then mages do have that. So you can use precise casting if you want to make certain creatures unaffected by. So a lot of the like customization of like crafting spells certain ways, that is already like the core feature of the mage, right? So this class, they don't get to do cool stuff with weapons, they don't get to shapeshift, they don't get to fly and like do a lot of the cool things that other people can do, but they can really like make the spells and upgrade the spells and customize them in interesting ways that no other class can. So this is like really their special thing. So I want to be careful about just giving everybody that, right? So the healing classes, they don't really have any similar thing. So like heal lets them have that built-in flexibility, right? And the shepherd gets this built-in flexibility this way, and the Oathsworn or paladin, they get lay on hands, which lets them heal it in that certain cool way. So I'm not convinced that all spells need a bunch of different upcasting options. That said, I am open to considering like this spell might be able to use like a different upcasting option. So I don't think all the spells wholesale need new like additional modes. I think that would just complicate it without really adding anything new, and it would actually take away from the coolness of the mage. That said, is adding reach to Pyroclasm the best thing or the coolest thing? Maybe not. Maybe that could be looked at. But I'd have to take that sort of on a case by case basis, I guess. So Double King, I think the scaling problem is, so there might be some spells that don't scale ideally. So those I do want to fix. So I hope you don't feel like I'm brushing off the feedback. No, I'm dealing with it because I appreciate the feedback and it's really, really well thought out. So I want to give you the philosophy behind what I'm trying to do and the reasons why it is the way it is, and then we can look at my left missed. Hey, ignore this message. Keep up the good with that. Thank you so much. You definitely don't have to do that, but I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, so I hope it doesn't feel like shooting ideas down. So a lot of people who aren't used to feedback, not that you aren't, but just a lot of people like hearing the thought process, like can sometimes feel like like I can sometimes come across as if I'm like shooting the feedback down, which is certainly not the intent at all. Like, I very much appreciate all the feedback you guys have given, just fantastic feedback. So a lot of times I'll get feedback and I'll implement it right away, and people are sort of confused, like, well, why did you implement that feedback right away? This other feedback we've been talking about for weeks and weeks and weeks, you sort of brush off. So like the feedback that I implement right away is usually or always something I've already had my eye on, I've already been thinking about, and then like that was the last thing that I needed to, like, okay, let's go and implement it. And it's not like we're implementing it forever. A lot of times it's let's implement it so that we can test it and see if it deserves to stay or if it deserves to be reverted back. So, that's sort of where I am with a lot of the feedback. So, could certain spells, their upcasting options be changed? Probably. If I were to guess, there's probably at least one or two spells, at least, that the upcasting could be more fun or more interesting or have more utility or do something other than what they're currently doing. So, if you have any of those thoughts, like on those specifics, I'm definitely open to that. But if it's just sort of like a broad, like all AoE spells ought to deal more damage as upcasting, I think I disagree philosophically with that. Because depending on the situation, the AoE spells as they are already pretty close to dealing to being the best spells. No, okay, good. Appreciate that, Matt. I get some specific ideas. Cool. Yeah, if you guys have any specifics, happy to look at that. All right, so let's go back to EMM's thing. And also, yeah. So Josh's thought here is also a good point. So as you level up, you have more mana to be able to cast more of the leveled spells or tiered spells more often. So that does accommodate for it more. So like at level 8, for instance. So I understand that you get this, Matt, already, but like some people might not see this. Like at level 8, you might only be able to cast Pyroclasm like once or twice, but at level 18, like you can almost cast that like every turn, basically. So you are able to cast more of the big spells more often, and you have to rely on the lower damaging cantrips less often. So that takes care of that to a certain degree, but also a lot of the damage in these classes don't come from just the spells. It comes from like the different subclass options and like the control table and the spell shaper things. Like, so a lot of the damage numbers are not just like, they're not just silos. So there's a lot of other things that are taken into account. Okay, so let's take a look at this thing that I checked off a bit prematurely. Let's take a look at that. Okay, Nimble leaves some rules open for interpretation. Accidental acrobat, if you fall, the consequences are bad. To make them more flavorful, depending on the situation, the GM or group can decide what happens. Yes, probably not death, unless it's like you fall off, a 3-mile mountain. Like, okay, you die. You're dead, son. Well, instances like this, totally fine. Okay, cool. Some force you to roll saves without explaining what the risk or reward is, which I don't really enjoy. Okay. At home underground, if it rains, you're forced to... Okay, so let's actually just go look at those so everybody can be on the same page. Motivations, backgrounds. Okay, at home underground. Okay, you can dig twice as fast as others. Safe resting locations underground always count as lavish lodging for you. You struggle to rest in safe while it's raining. Water from the sky? Okay, so it is up to the GM whether or not it's raining, right? So it's up to the GM whether or not it's raining. And it is in... So for this one in particular, so I'm going to defend it first, and then I'll look at the criticism. Not necessarily defend it, but I'm going to explain the thinking of it, and then I'll look at what the feedback is. So one, it's up to the GM. This isn't just something that just happens to the players. Like, oh no, the players, like the GM said it's raining. Well, now what, right? So it's up to the GM whether or not it's raining. The dwarf or the underground gnome can just dig underground. Like, oh, it's raining. I'm gonna dig underground. And I'll sleep underground. Like, it's right. I'm getting out of here. It's raining. I'm sleeping under. So both the GM and the player have a say on regarding whether or not like this quote unquote bad thing happens. The you struggle to rest in save while it's raining is more of a fun, flavorful like a role playing moment that is built into the character. It is a hook for both the GM and a hook for the player to do something fun and silly during play. So really at home underground is you can dig twice as fast as others. Like whatever that means in your campaign, like there's going to be situations where that is like incredibly useful, right? It's the quote unquote drawback is really just a fun role playing thing that both the GM and the player can agree to engage in, and like it's a sort of a funny moment for everybody else. So what that means, it depends, and so some of these, so that is the thought that is in it. So let's with that in mind, let's take a look at the feedback. You're forced to roll an int save. If you fail, you struggle to rest. What does that mean? Again, it's up to the GM and player. Is it pure flavor, or you skip the benefits of resting? Does it make the rest worse, or is it 100% bypass? The description is mostly for flavor and open-ended. Why is it forcing a player to do an int save? Can't they just struggle to rest? And describe how tired they feel. So yes, they could. Yes to all of this. And again, it's the GM and the player both have a say in how this works, because the player also has a freedom. I'm going to spend 10 minutes to dig a little hole, and I'm going to sleep underground. And like it's just a fun, silly little thing that people can do. So I don't see that as a big problem. Maybe some of these others are different. Play dead. So this one I think was already addressed. Secretly undead, unnatural resilience. You're immune to disease. Do not need to eat, drink, or breathe. So yes. So the secretly undead had this ability where they could play dead, and that was giving people that was already some questions. So that was already dealt with. If it's a ruling of rule situation, doesn't need to stay in the book. Players can come up with. So yeah. So I think that was both already dealt with, and where it still is there. It's something that both players can agree to sort of have fun with if they want to. So I hope that answers the question now. But leaving some of them open ended, I think is really fun. Play dead. So I think I was talking about the open ended. I was talking about Secretly Undead because it had a thing where you could play dead without having to make a save. I think that's what that one was talking about. Suggest the people person is built. Yeah. I saw you peek at the Songweaver entry in the doc earlier. I hope you'll take a look at point 2 in that entry. Okay, yeah, sure. If I missed something. Solution 2. It would be amazing if the Songweaver could mix and match different traits to narrate a story, just like the Stormshifter. So adding, so I'm open to like making some guidelines, like just some like broad guidelines. A combat related one that deals roughly this much damage, one that you can use during a short rest or field rest, one that you can use for role playing or information gathering, one that you can use for travel. So like those are broadly the categories that are there now. Like if you think of something else that's not in one of those categories, then yeah, go for it. If the GM and the player are both happy with it, knock yourself out. But if it's combat related, it shouldn't do more or less. It shouldn't do like, it should be in the neighborhood of this one, right? Dealing roughly this much damage. If it deals more, it should have a drawback. If it deals less, then maybe you can lessen the drawback a little bit. So I'm happy to give like some guidelines. Like if you want to make your own in these different categories, here's some things to follow. But I think having some like build your Build-A-Bear type of thing is probably beyond the scope of this. Might there be in the future another Songweaver subclass where like summoning people, he's a people person, like, and that is like all he does? Like I think that kind of thing might be pretty cool. But like for how it is right now, I'm fine with adding some guidelines. I think I'll go ahead and do that, especially since we have the space. But adding like a lot more to it, like the chimeric boons, I think that is a bit beyond the scope and a little bit overly complex for what we're going for. I hope that answers your question, Citric. You dead, son, Angela Lewis. Tusky, while we're on backgrounds, would traits not be a better name for them as they're not involved in the background? Let me think about that. Backgrounds provide a glimpse in your character's past. Your background. How they were raised, their defining traits, or the skills they honed before becoming an adventurer. Okay, so how they were raised, it fits in their backgrounds. The skills they honed before becoming an adventurer, like their job, that's your background. Defining traits. Yeah. No, I see. It's not. It's not. It's not. It's not. I feel you. Okay. What if we just tweaked it just a little bit? How they were raised. The skills slash job they honed before becoming an adventurer, or even they're defining personality traits. So, like, it's these things or this. Like, it's mostly your background, but some of them are like this defining personality trait. I think that might help a little bit. I'm okay with that. Also, I've mentioned that negative progresses feel like taking options away from characters instead of giving them more. So we did clarify that the ones that require 0 or negative things, it's only at character creation. So it's not, you're not pigeonholed into that forever. So that was updated. I think that adds a little bit of a little bit more leeway and clarity. Could home at sea and home underground be combined to some sort of home in unexpected places? It could, but I don't know that would help things at all. So like for instance, like this one, raised by goblins, we do have this note like, hey, you can be raised by like some other thing, dwarves or whatever. And there are notes here where you can change it up however you want. I mean, taking away options as in you have less to choose from generally. It's more of like a reward for like if your build already has like a 0 int, like I'm a berserker, I have 0 int. Like it'd be funny if like sometimes it's like so dumb I'm smart sometimes. It's just like if none of the other backgrounds like really call to you, like 0 negative int. Oh, I've got that. Once per day I can roll an int skill check once per saber. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Like sometimes I'm just so dumb, like I'm so dumb, like I don't even notice the illusion, right? I just succeed on the int save. Like that's just a funny thing that like it's a funny not a stereotype, archetype of a character that like heroes generally have like their stats are all way up here, but sometimes like a hero can be more fun if like one of his stats is like a dump stat, and it's just a way to reward the dump stats. Are the lodging level hooks and boons? Yes, they're being added back into the GM things. Yes, that's being added back in there. Thanks for hanging out, by the way, you guys. Play dead is optional rule. Yes, optional rule without the result. Largely, so let's look at that real quick. But I think largely that is just up to the GM how to adjudicate that play dead. Where is it? Play dead. Whenever a hero drops his hit points, they can attempt to play dead by falling prone and making an influence check or other skill check that situation demands. So basically, it's just it gives the GM an excuse to like, okay, I won't keep attacking that hero. It's really a release valve for the GM, because otherwise the hero is still standing and like without like obviously cheating, like, oh, you're dying, I don't want to kill Brandon's character, so I'll go attack Charlie over here instead. Like, so like I as a GM, I could say like, hey, Brandon, do you want to play dead? Otherwise this guy's going to keep attacking you. Like, it's really just a release valve for the GM to be able to, like, it's an excuse for that, right? Or if the player is, it wants to preserve himself and the GM isn't really thinking about it, the player can do it too. So it's a way for the story to support what the players at the table at a meta level want, and it's a reason to support that. So that's mostly what that is. So yeah, if the thing's dead, like the thing stops attacking you. Did you mean to check off the spells thing? You said you were considering it still. So I checked it off. Like if you want to add any additional like specifics, happy to look at specifics. But I checked it. I checked it off in the sense that like just broadly increasing the damage of the AOE spells upcasting, I think is a no right now. But barring any specific thing, like this AoE spell would work better if it had like more damage instead of this or that, then yeah, I think that'd be cool. Like if all of the AoE spells like upcasting just increases the range, like that's not cool. Like if one of them like increases the reach and one of them increases this and one of them increases the damage, well then yeah, that's cool. Having different variety I think is pretty cool. But yeah, it would be like a specific type of thing. Gotta go. Hey, see you later, Brandon. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, awesome. Looking forward to some ideas. Okay, so let's take a look at some of these things. Let's take a look at Twin Steel's. And let's look at Twin Steel's thing. So Twin Steel, he's been running a campaign, I think, ever since the beta started, and just rolling with all the changes. So his feedback has been quite good, quite good. Not that I've taken all this feedback or implemented all of it, but a lot of it has been really helpful. Okay, so TLDR, Mage, excellent changes. Spell feedback, Hunter. Let's actually get down to the details. Spells are so much faster, so we move from like rolling a bunch of dice to just rolling fewer dice and more flat modifiers. So that's exactly what I thought would happen, and it's good to confirm what I thought would happen. More spell thoughts here. All right, so let's take a look at that. Oh, just down there. Okay. Baseline mana 2 high. That might be the case. So yes, that might be the case still. Once per round on your turn, may demand control for free. Let's take a look at that. Spell Shaper control. Once on your turn, you may demand control for free. Once per round or once per turn? I think it being something on your turn is good enough, because I don't want the mage interrupting other people's turns unnecessarily, like casting cantrips or making something slowed, or like saying, all of this. Like I want the mage to have the foresight of like, okay, I don't want this bad guy to attack that thing, and like you could even like the mage could even like select himself or herself, like I cannot harm myself with a spell that normally harms me. Like you can even do that, or like the mage could the mage could select the Shadowmancer who's about to cast. The mage could even select the Shadowmancer who's about to cast something like Creeping Death, and like the Shadowmancer's like way out there, and he like I know he's gonna blow himself up with Unspeakable Word or Creeping Death. Like Shadowmancer cannot harm himself on his next turn. Shadowmancer's turn, Creeping Death, blam. Okay, so like there's cool different combos that I think adding it as like a reaction on other people's turns, or like sort of being able to do it whenever, I think might break up the flow a little bit too much. It might make it a little bit too spicy. So we'll leave that alone. Baseline mana too high, that it might be the case. So let's go to the spreadsheets. He's more on that in the mage thread for free once on each of your turns. Oh, okay. So let's mana. So I think we might go ahead and make a spreadsheet of it. So we might be able to 1 equals this plus 1. So we might be able to come up with a cool solution to where there's not like too much mana. If there's too much of a resource, then it's not really a resource. It's just it's just bookkeeping. We'll just say that. So if you have too much resource, it's not really a resource. It's not fun. If you have not enough, it's frustrating. So there is a Goldilocks zone in there where things are perfect. Luca, hey Luca, he expanded more. Oh, I already read that. I'm dumb. Sorry. All right, so let's keep looking. So I went ahead and started the spreadsheet of that just so I can remember. We can go back to that. Hunter mobility roll and strike edition, fantastic, awesome. I thought it might be. So that charge, great, awesome. So that needs a cap. Maybe it needs a cap. I don't know that it needs a cap. I don't know that it needs a cap because it's too overpowered, but like maybe it needs a cap in the sense that like as guidance for a new player, like a new player might say like, oh, I've got like 5 Throwdown charges. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna get 20 and then I'm gonna do something cool. Like the new player doesn't know, like, like by the time you get to like 6 or 7 charges, like the combat's gonna be over. So cap might be instructive in the sense for like new players, like go ahead and spend it. Like it's okay. Like build up a little bit, then spin it. Build up a little bit, and then spin it. Like it'd be easy to have like a cap of will or something like that. But I don't know that it's necessary because the easiest ways to build up a bunch of charges is in melee, where the hunter doesn't necessarily want to be. I don't know that a cap is super necessary. Yeah, once on your turn for domain control implies once only ever, so it would be good to change it. Oh, is that what the confusion was? Let's read that with that in mind. Once on each of your turns. Okay, is that so? The intent is once on each of your turns. If that's all he was asking, then yeah, that's an easy fix. Okay, much preferred survivalist to wildsman. Why do we change survival? Okay, I think we changed survivalist because one of the backgrounds was called survivalist. It was just confusing. Okay, cool. That's good to know. Do we still have survivalist here? Survivalist. Resourceful survivalist. Find next. Okay. Survivalist. So yeah, we could probably change this one. I don't know. I kind of like wildsman. What do you guys think? Do you like survivalist or do you like wildsman for the hunter subclasses? I kind of like wildsman, like someone who's like out in the wild. Like the wild is like a key, like it is a key thing. Like the wild, like capital T, capital W. Like this is like a core class identity thing. So like the wildsman, like someone who like embraces the wild and the outdoors and all that kind of stuff. It's more than someone is just good at surviving, right? So I kind of like wildsman. But if you guys want to weigh in on that, feel free. I kind of like it, but if everybody hates wildsman, then maybe we could think of some different things. Resourceful herbalist, uncommon given scarcity of safe rests. I mean, there's like typically there's a safe rest like once per session. So like once per session you get some healing potions. So I don't know. Consequently, healing salve not getting much use. Okay. Like getting a bunch of healing potions essentially for free when like every time you use short rest, I think is quite good. Wildsman kind of sounds berserkery, like wild man. Oh, I see. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, Oathsworn Vengeance, still like the Judgment, cool, like that, like the changes. Also encourage opportunity attacks. Yep. Players feel their out of combat ability utility is least among classes at our table. All right, let's take a look at that. So let's see. What are the zealot, paragon of virtue, advantage on influence checks to convince someone when you are forthrightly telling the truth, disadvantage when misleading. Yeah, perhaps. So there's that, and then there is. There's Unstoppable Protector, a little bit of utility there. You may interpose even when you're restrained or stunned, blah, blah, blah. If you interpose for a non-combat NPC, you may interpose again this round. So like that kind of thing is like cool utility. I'll think about that. Let's take a look at the utility spells, the radiant utility spells as well. You get Light, that's super useful. Beautify, you could be very creative with that. Bond of Peace, that could be really, really useful as well. So they might just not be high enough to get the utility spells. When do level 7? I think the Oathsworn's utility is maybe like a 9 out of 10, like where it like 8 out of 10, which is like quite good. Oathsworn's utility is really mostly like protecting their allies. Warden is nice. Primalist. Primalist, Warden is cool. Warden is a cool word. Tiggs, hey, dropping in and say hey. Thanks. Thank you. I'm not a fan of Wildsman. I know it's arguably gender neutral, but it feels less inclusive of Hunter. Yeah, Wildsman like human. It's not wild male. But yeah, I got it. Hey, thanks for hanging out, Graham. Storm Shifter Sting super fast now. Awesome. Decreased speed on wheel. Okay. Focusing on interruptions, not feeling cool. Okay, cool. So far feedback's good. This one, yes, that was unintentional. That typo was already fixed. Lower cap on the Berserker worked great. Awesome. Swift Fury may be giving too much movement. Let's see. I don't think it is, but let's see. Swift Fury. Whenever you gain a Fury die, move up to Dex spaces for free. So if your Dex is like 2, move 2 spaces for free. Ignore difficult terrain. I think that is about where the power level we want it to be. So if your Dex is maxed out at like 5 or 6, you get a free movement. So what if it was this? Okay, so it should probably be this. Whenever you gain 1 or more Fury dice, move up to Dex spaces for free. So because recently we did update this at level 5. You gain, whenever you rage, gain 2 Fury dice instead. So yes, I don't want someone with 5 Dex, raging. They gain 2 Fury dice, and then you can move 10 spaces. That's too much. So yes, that clarification I think might help, because we did update here and we didn't update down here. So okay, point well taken. Okay, spells, good choice to remove. Cool. Charge with Spark Step was too easy. Okay. Like the Ice Melt and Frost Shield. Nice. Surprised Upcast Pyroclasm does increase damage. Yeah, we did talk about that a little bit. Feels like Ignite does it right. Ignite, I think because it has this limitation of the target has to, it's something you have to set up. I think like that is like the big damaging single target spell. So that it should feel that way. Swapple, okay. Compare Ride the Lightning versus 1,000 Cuts. Okay, let's go and compare those two. Ride the Lightning, 2d20 plus 20. 1,000 Cuts, 44 plus 30. Okay. Pyroclasm versus Ignite. Pyroclasm versus Ignite, 2d20 plus 10. Ignite, 4d10. I don't know what that is saying, but I think it's okay. I have suggestions here. Warden fit the best with a nature support subclass. Yeah. Warden is okay. I think of like a jail warden also. So I don't like that connotation, because like the ranger is like the opposite of that. Like a ranger or a hunter might be like a bounty hunter type of thing, but they would not be a warden in that sense. So some words just sort of have like dual or multiple meanings. Rated Necrotic, Rocky some big pulls of d20s. Vengeance. Let's take a look at that. 40-20 is fine. 40-20 is fine. And I did want Vengeance and Condemn to feel very different. And I tried a lot of different combinations, permutations, but Vengeance and Condemn, like Vengeance is sort of like this wild, like wild-eyed revenge type of like vigilante thing, right? Whereas like condemning someone is like a judicial, like almost stoic type of thing, like highly reliable versus like highly volatile. So like those two things, like the damage they do and the way they come about the damage, like the average is where I want it to be, but also like risking rolling a 4 versus 80 is like really cool. Like that variability is cool for that spell, because it goes with Warden of the Wilds. Yeah, that's okay. I mean, if you guys really hate Wildsman, then I can cook up some better names, but you'll see. Does anybody like Wildsman? You let me know if you like it. Okay, so where were we? Legendary monsters, when party swells to 5 or more, number of actions get time intensive. For instance, 5 PCs, any player goes from waiting at least 5 turns to waiting at least 9 turns. So the idea for legendary monsters is their turn is basically just like a quick thing. They move and make an attack. Like just really doesn't take any time at all. It's like, I go between you two. That said, I will admit that some of the earlier designed legendary monsters were designed a little bit slowly. So initially, Thorn Quickblade, for instance, it had like anytime he did Stormquill, he would make 2 attacks, which is like too much. So like because they're acting after each hero, each like legendary thing should just be like one thing and not multiple things each time. So I rebalanced it to be just 1 attack. So I'm going to be going over and making those tweaks. So that is good feedback, but I think I'm addressing it in a different way. Kind of like Wildsman, Tyler. Thanks, man. Matt, thank you. Wild One is already Wild One is already a background. Double King. Now I have an image of some caveman with Wilderkin. Okay, so let's take a look at Commander Combat Abilities Clarification. I think we already took care of that. So we took care of that. Let's keep going down. Let's go down to here. I like the solution. What was this about? The dice. Okay, so I think we've already got that. Speak now, forever hold your peace. So yeah, we looked at that twin steel. If Ross watches this later, we can add it here. Supplements down the line. Yeah, we'll get to things down the line. I got some really cool ideas for like earth spells, or like plant spells, nature-y types of things. I got some really good ideas. I have to like stop myself from thinking about them too much because I start cooking and then I get myself into trouble. Yeah, more spell schools. Very quite likely. Down the line. I don't necessarily mean more. All right, so let's keep going. Just want to mention this little discussion about the Song Weaver. Let's take a look at that. Yes. Okay. So yes, we already talked about that. Let's go to where's Forever Ultra Peace. I wish there was like a back button in Discord. Speak now, Forever Ultra Peace. Here it is. GM advice. Yeah. We'll get to the GM advice. We'll see that. Has anybody played the Reaver? I did play the Reaver. It was pretty fun. It was pretty cool. And some changes were made based upon that feedback. And I'm doing another playtest tonight with. It's going to be an in-person playtest with my buds. So we're probably not going to stream that one. Wild Soul. That sounds kind of cool. Wild Heart. Yeah, Wild Heart sounds cool. Wild Heart does sound cool. Wasn't Wild Heart an MCDM? Beast Heart. No, Beast Heart. Yeah, Wild Heart is rad. Yeah, no, it's fine. Like names are really important. Like if the name of the subclass was like dorky dork, like just something stupid, like people is like, oh, I don't like that. But if the names of things are cool, they're like, oh, I want to do that, you know. And because there's not a lot of flavor text and stuff, like the name is the flavor text a lot of times. I have a mouse with buttons that you can map. You can map one to undo, and that works. You can undo in Discord. So if I click here and then undo, no, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. Pathfinder, yeah. We should have one subclass named Pathfinder, the other one called Dungeons and Dragons. If there's a class called Dorky Dark, I would only play that. Yeah, I know. Like there would be that would bisect the crowd. So half the people would be like, "That's so dumb." Other people would say like, "Only play Dorky Dork." Is it? I mean, I do have I have a shortcut there, but it doesn't work. Like when I've got a trackpad, so like when I swipe this way or that with my trackpad, it goes back and forth, but that doesn't work. Anyway, okay, so let's keep looking at. So let's go down quickly in the discussion. Let me see if there's anything else. Monster feedback. Yeah. So let's take a look at the classes here. Latest after action report. That's feeling good. The cheat. Everybody loves cheat. Cheat like Cheat's great. Oh, the cheat has added. I did add this one cool little thing because the cheat was like great, but bordering on it was simple and clean, but so simple that it was bordering on simplistic. So I went ahead and added twist the blade as an action that it can do, and then that's not what happened as an action. So like two additional actions. So the cheat, because he can move for free each round, and he really only wants to make like one good attack. Like the cheat a lot of times had like one or two actions that like I don't really have anything to do with that. And if they like defend during their turn, you know that's pretty much free, right? And so if they're moved for free and they still have like just like one action that they didn't really have anything useful to do with a lot of times, and that didn't feel good. Like they could make like a 1d4 attack, but it's sort of underwhelming. It's sort of just a waste time. So rather that like this twist the blade ability or this that's not what happened ability is kind of cool, like cool little things that they can add. I really like that utility that we gave to the cheat. Just sort of if you'll let me pat myself on the back for just a second. Okay, everybody likes cheat though. Um, Weapon mastery. That is just a layout thing. Let's go to Spellblade. Yeah, so there were some cool ideas here from Bruno, but it's just a very different direction than I think the Spellblade wants to go. So for the Spellblade, we did add, let's go back to heroes. The Spellblade, we did add, I did have take well the feedback that, you know, the melee attacks for the Spellblade just sort of fall short since you don't get to do all these cool combat tactics. So being inspired by the art, like this dude's sword is flaming. You know how cool is that? I gave them Firebrand. Whenever you roll initiative, you can cast enchant weapon for free. You can cast it on your own weapon, on someone else's weapon, you know, whatever. But like you can cast enchant weapon for free. We did also streamline it in that whenever you roll initiative, you gain int mana whenever you roll initiative. So it was a little bit more fiddly before that. Like you can spend your tactics dice, your combat dice as mana and this and that. But instead of that, you just gain int mana whenever you roll initiative, which is a lot easier. It's the same thing, but it's a lot easier to understand. So some people were saying that, oh, you know, just enchant weapon is sort of just like, you know, just sort of blank, boring damage on top of, you know, the commander more than any class I think has a lot going on, and they're constantly like looking, particularly with like reposition and some of these other commands. They've got a lot going on already, so they don't need a lot more complexity. They do sort of just need like a little bit of a static damage boost, and that's what this gets. So generally, I'm against like flat static damage boosts, but Firebrand is actually exactly what was called for in this situation, because enchant weapon deals plus key damage, so it's flat damage. So the spellblade might want to use daggers or short swords or rapiers, whereas they in order to have that damage apply also in order to like inflict smoldering, but also to have that damage not be ignored by medium and heavy armor. So like it makes really interesting things happen where they otherwise might not. Okay. So the ideas that Bruno had for Spellblade are cool. Yeah, definitely cool, but just a different direction than I think I wanted to go. And I think I did add one other thing to Spellblade. I don't remember what it was. I changed something, but it was like a minor thing. Let's go down to Hunter. Okay, I think that was it. Anything for the mage? I think we clarified that. Oathsworn. Okay, so it looks like most of it is Twin Steel's feedback. All right, I think we already got most of this feedback dealt with here. Okay, so let's take a look at take a look back at this. Okay, should spells from different schools better combo with each other? Stuff like Withering Touch and Rebuke lead to interesting combos and interactions. Yes, that would be cool. Water and Lightning or Smoldering Ice spells. Yeah, that would be cool. It might be like a little bit too cute. So like that kind of thing, like some of that is cool sometimes, But after you've done it like once or twice, like it just rather it's not cool any longer. It's sort of like getting a +1 sword. Like, oh, cool, I got a +1 sword. It has a name. Um, it's cool, but like eventually, like it just like this is just the proper way to play. So if you have too much of that, then like I always have to cast the ice spell and then the lightning spell. If I just cast the lightning spell by itself, then like it's suboptimal. So you got to be careful about too much of that kind of stuff in general. So having some of that is fun. Having too much of that, and then it starts pigeonholing you into some of these things. I do like having like things that you can set up and do, but I like having it as like a fun little bonus that can set up a teammate's stuff. Not to where like it's something that you have to do this first, etc., etc. Asapods use grab, not grapple. How do they work? So I did clarify that. So grab is basically grapple, but for a smaller thing. So like grapple or restrain means you can't move. So like if I go up and like grab my son, he's 8, like he can't move, like he's grappled, right? But if my son like comes and grabs me, like I can still move, right? But like wherever I move, he moves with me. So what we added to that is this can be ended as grappled. So you guys let me know if that makes sense or not. But grab is essentially the other side of the coin for grappled. The grabber moves with you, and attacks that miss you damage the grabber. Yep. Alt plus up down arrows. It goes up down the channel list. What are you talking about? Oh, that's cool. But it doesn't do that for alt. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't go back and forth. Alt plus left arrow to go back to previous channel. It doesn't do it. It doesn't do it. I'm on Mac. I don't know. Can someone give me a TLDR for Beastmaster, by the way? Is it easy to play? Is it underpowered? The power level is as far as I know currently. Power level is about where it's about where it should be. Barring alt left, it doesn't work. It doesn't work on Mac at least. It does like if I have it open in browser, so I can like go backward and forward in the browser, but not in like the desktop app. Whatever, it doesn't matter too much. One of the pain points for Spellblade is majority of the time you use reposition because it's not relying on a trigger to react. That is that a pain point? So like in my local playtesting, like that was one of the most fun things about the commander. Like he was commanding us around and like giving us so much more utility and flexibility than we otherwise would have had. He loved it. Like he loved being able to set up different things. We loved being able to like save our actions to be able to do other cool stuff. Like we didn't. So I don't think that's a drawback. I think that's a feature, and it's a feature that appeals to some and doesn't appeal to other. So I don't know that's a drawback. The one you didn't understand from Twisted was that the spells like Pyroclasm, small number of smaller. Is yeah. That makes sense, Luca. Same with the commander. So generally, like the higher tier spells use bigger, like chunky dice. Same with commander, but it's less egregious with commander. So the worry that I have about having a bunch of dice. So like right now, Pyroclasm is 2d20 plus 10. It could be 4d10 plus 10. And if we didn't have Living Inferno, then like you'd only cast Pyroclasm like every once in a while. But Living Inferno, it's 4d10 plus 10, 4d10 plus 10 every time you cast Living Inferno. So it felt just a little. It felt a little bit too much. A little bit too much. Same with commander, but it's less egregious with commander because you have other options with combat dice. Yeah. Yeah. So the commander being able to like reposition people a bunch is like really a big part of the fun for the class. Not there. Let's go here. The locations, yeah, I think we might do that. So legendary monsters attack too much. Yeah, so let's go and go through some of the legendary monsters and just reconfigure them, because yes, indeed, a legendary monster should only attack once per turn, because they get many more turns. So that is good feedback. Okay, so we have Rend and Tear. If Grimbeak damages a creature twice in one turn, they are knocked prone. So let's just say if Grimbeak crits a creature, crits a smaller creature, they are knocked prone. There we go. Solo, large owlbear. So yeah, we do need to have the size in it. So let's change Rend and Tear from 2x to 1x, and then it's going to be 2d6. So let's you know what? We can use we can use the amazing Matt's damage calculator, because I was about to do some calculations in my brain. So level 3. So here we go. There's the level 3 thing. So Rend and Tear is his big attack, so it should deal roughly 20 damage. So let's go to this. We've got 20 damage. There we go. We already have it there. So 2d6 plus 13. Ooh, 2d6 plus 13. So let's do 2d6 plus 10. Choose either die as the primary die. That's kind of cool. So like this is definitely a unique mechanic. So what if Grimbeak was able to choose either die as a primary die? So he's twice as he's essentially rolling with advantage, but taking both. So he's twice as likely to crit now. So what are the odds on that? So it calls for 2d6 plus 13. So we're giving a little bit less damage, but he's more likely to crit. Right. So let's go to d6, 2d6. At least one of the dice is equal to or greater than or equal to 6. Okay, so we got like a 30% chance to crit, that sounds cool. So like if there's 3 people, like once per round roughly, if there's 3 or 4 people, yeah, double king, super duper helpful. Yeah, so this is really cool, a unique way to do it. So Rend and Tear, he is so ferocious, like he can choose either die as the primary die. That is neat. Okay, what if this? Okay, let's do this. So what if we just say brutal? Brutal means you can choose either die. Choose either die as the primary die. On crit. On crit, knock prone. Ooh, that's a cool thing, you know. That's a really sweet, like I feel like if a dude with a sword and a tiger dealt like roughly the same amount of damage, the tiger, like I'm gonna be more scared of the tiger, you know, the tiger attacking me, because they're like brutal things, you know. They're more likely to crit me, I feel like. The tiger, Grimbeak, he can choose either die as a primary die. That's pretty sweet. I feel like Grimbeak is dealing a lot of damage. Grimbeak is dealing just truckloads of damage. So we should probably So 2d6 plus 3. So we have, I just want to double check. So the small damage is going to be 2d6 plus 3. So I'm actually I'm going to have to grab my my big sheet, my big balance sheet, just to double check. So let's make a new column after. You guys can see this, right? It might be a little bit small. You guys can see this. So I want to double check. So this is Grimbeak's small attack. So it's going to be equal to, let's go down to 2d6, and it's with advantage, essentially. 2d6. Yeah, so it's going to be 2d6 with advantage plus 3. And it's we're going to multiply that times the chance to miss for 2d6. Okay, so like times 0.97. So he's dealing 12 damage. Okay, so Grimbeak's damage is overtuned currently. So it should probably be, if we add Brutal, it should be just 2d6 damage for Beak. And then let's see what Rend and Tear should be. Rend and Tear, where did my spreadsheet go? So let's, so it's going to be this plus, let's just do plus 10. Yeah. Okay, so this one, so Rend and Tear is fine, but Beak is, yeah. Okay, that is better balanced now. Cool. There we go. I like that. I like that. Okay, so and it does say chose. I see that. So rather than choose either die as the primary die, the highest die, treat the highest die rolled as a primary die. Does that make more sense? What about Ride the Lightning? Another one Twin Steel mentioned. Ride the Lightning. Yeah, so that is where I want it to be. 2d20 plus 20 damage. So like a huge portion of the damage is from is from the flat damage. So you would do this when there's like a bunch of creatures wearing metal armor, or if they're weak. Or like a bunch of unarmored creatures or creatures with metal armor, like is the prime time to use Ride the Lightning. I think multiple d20s is about the feeling that I want to be. That's the feeling I want to be getting across. So a lot of this is there's not a right or wrong answer, but this is the kind of game that I find would be like just way more fun. I forgot where we were. So Grimbeak. Just turns totally not clear. Usually select the attack and then roll for multiple dice. So for multiple dice, you just use the leftmost. But this one, like you can, for Grimbeak, because he's brutal, he can just always treat the highest die rolled as the primary die. So even if like if you have like a 5 and a 6, and the 5 lands the leftmost, or it'd be this way for you guys. If you had a 5 and a 6, and the 5 landed the leftmost, you can say, "Oh, I'm going to choose the crit as a primary die." So he crits. So if either die crits, he crits. He doesn't miss unless both of the dice are 1, for instance. You like to do a warning? Good. Cool. Brutal is a cool thing. Wildling. Wildling makes me think small. Wildling makes me think like ling is sort of like a diminutive thing in my mind. Wildling. Like that makes me think of like a little tiny forest creature. We never move on from some target roll. Okay. Pathfinder. It sounds like a scout type. Yeah, scout is kind of cool thing, but like I think of like Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts also, like child. So I don't want it to be like a diminutive term or a thing that could have diminutive connotation. Wildsman is still my favorite, but that said, I can if you guys are cooking this much, I think I could probably come up with something a little bit better. Like usually the names, like the second I see it, like instantly I know that's the name. And Wildsman was like, it's pretty good. I'll go with that for now. Well, your tables are something similar be available in the GM. Yeah, it's right there. It's right there in the GM guide. You can take a screenshot right now if you want. Scout subclass can conjure emergency cookies. Yeah. Brilliant idea. Okay, so let's. So what we were doing, we were checking all of the legendary monsters for like multiple attacks because they shouldn't be making multiple attacks. Ooh, and we have an additional legendary monster. So this is actually a legendary team. So solo monsters need not be strictly solo. Legendary creatures may have pets, summon minions, or even come in groups. And we were planning on doing the stack of 3 goblins as one legendary monster, and I'm still planning on that, but that didn't have time for that in this book. So Kelleback and Poppy, this is a bug druid and his giant stink bug pet. So like they work together, and it's pretty sweet thing. So this one, grab and throw. Okay, so I think those are fine. We fixed him already. Strike back. So last stand. So this last stand is probably too good. So attacking every time he's attacked is too good. So I did lower his damage, his last stand damage, because he's human, and like humans aren't like super. Humans are not super like resilient. So for level 4, the last stand should be 40, but because he's a human, I went ahead and downgraded it to his last stand hit points remaining is 30. So it could be, so his last stand could be better than, like, because he has fewer hit points, the power level of his last stand can be stronger, but it shouldn't be like too strong or take too long. And attacking, so what if this was like once per turn? I think which is limited that way, it would both make fewer attacks and make it less strong. That's kind of cool. Every time I'm hit. I'll strike back. When crit make a temperature stormcloud attack return. Yeah, that makes sense. I like that. Outlander is rad. I like Outlander. Outlander is cool. Pioneer sounds cool. Wildborn or Outlander. Yeah, Trailblazer is cool. Wildsman's not a hill I die on. Yeah. We'll keep quick. Like, I'll know it when I see it. Trailblazer's fine. Makes me think of like the Jeep, you know. Isn't there like a Trailblazer? Or like isn't there like some sort of team? Yeah, there's like a Jeep called a Trailblazer, like an SUV. And then there's also Trailblazers. Yeah, some sort of basketball team. I'm not like a super sports kind of person. Wayfarer. I'll think something, guys. Don't worry too much about that. Okay, so fewer attacks here. Fewer attacks there. There we go. That's good. Let's see. Ravage. So 2 attacks. So we don't want to do that. So let's we'll just have Ravage is gonna be 1 attack. And then so he's a level 5 boy. So level 5. Level 5. So this is his big attack. So it should deal 24 damage. Let's go, Matt. 24 damage. And he has D12s. So 1d12 plus 17. Let's do 1d12 plus, let's do 1d12 plus 10. And then I'll say crits on a roll of 10 plus. That's kind of cool. Crits on a roll of 10 plus. So let's see how much. So we reduced it by, because like adding 17 to a roll is like hard to do and not super fun. But like critting, like outright. I got it, guys. Don't worry about it. Like unless you come up with like a banger, you keep it yourself. It's okay. I mean, like chat as much as you want. I'll quit reading them if otherwise. So this is a rough back of the napkin type of like in my brain math that feels about right. So reducing the damage by 7, tripling the chance to crit. So you crit on 10, 11, or 12. So 10% additional chance to crit. So let's actually look at the math and see what that does. So a D12 is going to, a D12 is going to crit just one die. So let's say at least one die is greater than 10 or more. So on average, a crit is going to deal like 7 more damage when we crit. So maybe it should crit on like a 6+. Yeah, I think it should crit on a 6 or higher. Then we're dealing about the damage that we want. Crits on a roll of 6+. Because we want to have 7 additional damage, so half the time we're going to be dealing 7 additional damage. I don't want to be rolling that many dice. Crits on a roll of 10+. Let's think about it. Yeah, so like if we lower this number too much, then if we lower that number too much, then like it's taking longer, which is the opposite of what we want to be doing. So yeah, we can probably rethink it just a little bit. Ravage. Okay, so alternatively, we could go the other direction. So alternatively, so it is D12, so it should be 1d12 plus 17. What if we did 1d12 plus 20? And we just left the crits alone. 1d12 plus 20, and then we can maybe lower his hit points a little bit. So his hit points should be 150. So we could lower his hit points just a little bit to compensate for his increased damage output. So you don't want to be standing next to him. He deals tremendously more damage if you're standing next to him. So we could lower his hit points by 1 step. So 125. Let's do 130 so that it's easily divisible. So what is half of 130? 65? 65. 65. And then we lower this to 40. Yeah, that's kind of cool. I like that. So this is one that you want to be attacking from range or attacking and then moving away. Because Ravage is nasty. Cool. So that is sort of how we do some of these things. Don't the crit. Yeah. Good questions, Double Kig. It's a great way to. It raises too many questions. We'll leave that alone for now. Feral Instinct. Feral Instinct. Whenever Ravage is crit, he can fly 10. Yeah, fly away. He can. Yeah, he can fly pretty far. Yeah, describe it. You hit it so hard you send it flying, and suddenly you see it turning in there and dive bombing you. That's so cool. Yeah, I can't remember. Is there a range ability similar to called Sharpshoot? Yes, there's. Lowering the chance to hit? No. In version 1 there is. Yeah, there's something. I think it's called Sharpshooter or something like that. Yeah. So in version 1 in the full PDF. There's a replacement for that and for Great Weapon Master. Okay, so you fix this. You're only attacking once. In the last stand, until then, whenever he takes damage, he uses Move and Claw. Yeah, that's good. And it probably shouldn't be whenever he takes damage. It should be the first time each turn he takes damage So it shouldn't be like too much. It should be just a little bit. 5d12 damage. How much is 5d12 damage? Dice.run. 5d12. On average, that's gonna be like 30. Okay, so yeah, so his venomous stinger is still like the highest damage, the next highest, then this. Okay, so that makes sense. So generally, the abilities are in the order of use them in this. Like this is the one I want to use first. This is the highest damaging thing. So if this, use this. If I can use this, use this. If not, use this. So if nobody's in range, then move and claw. So that is the order of the abilities. In case you guys didn't know. And I'm going to actually unbold all of these because we've been unbolding. Like it's short enough to where we don't need a bunch of things bolded. And I'll change this back 5d12 to that, just so it reads more clearly. So let's make sure this one is the way. So Savage Screech, first time we want to use that first if it's available. Rend and Tear, we want to use that, and if not, then we use Beak. Yep. Heart Piercer. So no, we want to use Storm Quill whenever possible. Yeah, we want to use Storm Quill whenever possible, and then Heart Piercer. Queen Aranya, Broodmother. Move. Okay, so move is not the one we want to use first. We want to use Impale. Then Shoot Web. Range 12. I feel like the range on this is too high, so let's double check that. Michael the Battle Bard. That is a cool name. Okay, so Impale. Let's go back to the spreadsheet. So Impale. So she is a level 6. So Impale is her small attack. No, Impale is her big attack. So 26 damage. Let's check out the spreadsheet. 26 damage. And she is using a D8s. So like all the legendary monsters also use D8s. And whenever possible, the same modifiers. So just so it's easy. Like I've got D8s. Is it 1d8, 2d8s? Okay, so Impale is her big attack since it's the close range one. Impale 2d8 plus 6. So we're using okay, so it is woefully underpowered. 2d8 plus 6. So 1d8 plus 20 feels cool. 1d8 plus 20 piercing damage. That's nasty now. So Shoot Web, because we did lower the ranges of a lot of things, I think the range should be 8. And like if I was thinking ahead of time, like 8, right? 8, yeah. So I was thinking ahead of time. So yeah, so everything around her is like sort of surrounds the number 8 because she's an arachnid. You know, it's 8 legs. You know, so 2d8 deals a range 8. So it's like easy to remember. Move up to 8 spaces. That kind of thing is really pretty cool. Still says 2d8. 1d8 plus 20. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Shoot Web is going to be your smaller thing, and because it has this on hit ability, it should deal far less damage than is called for. So let's go to here. So 13. So we want this to be 13. 13. So 1d8 plus 8. So 1d8. 1d8 plus. Maybe 1d8 plus 8 Feels about no 1d8 plus 8 is the right amount of damage. It might should just be 1d8 because like dazing something is a pretty big deal. And then there's a 1 in 8 chance of critting and dealing another 4 damage and then dazing again. So yeah, I think just 1d8 damage. There you go. Move update spaces. Okay, yeah, that's good because she does also have weave web. The ground within 6 spaces is difficult terrain for non-spiders. Fire crickets suppress the broodmother's weave web for 2 turns. That's cool. I forgot about that. At 85 hit points, summon 4 spiderlings minions. Okay, so one thing I want to think about. Should moving. Okay, so there was Wild Fang Tracker. Tracker's cool. Wild Fang. Wild Fang is more like a druid type of thing. So there is these optional actions for each legendary monster. So like Terrible Roar or Taunt or Creepy Model, like that kind of thing. Creatures who hear this make a will save or are frightened for 1 turn. So anytime you want like a non-damaging thing, so that this was some feedback that people had before, and I think it was brought up again because people forgot that we added this. So you can do so. Legendary monsters are scary. They can frighten people, or you can just like toss people around, move them around, that kind of thing. So I think we might want to combine move with shoot web, or move with one of these. So it's so you can either do your big attack or you can move and do the small attack. Is sort of the thing that we have. Yeah. So yeah. So this should be move. So instead of move, it should be skitter and shoot web. Skitter. MOV. There we go. So we're simplifying. So instead of 3 choices, it's 2. Like, when would I move? When would I shoot? Like, why would I move if I could just? Why would I move into range if I could just shoot? Right. So you can move and shoot because it's really dealing minimal damage now. So, and a lot of these legendary monsters were made initially way back in Waywarden. Does sound cool, Tusky. Way back in like before the campaign was running, or like while it was running. So, and there's been a lot of development since then. So it's good to go back and make a sanity check. So impale, truckload of damage, and then so she is like sort of like a fragile type of like she's a fragile like skirmisher type of thing. So like she can only impale if the enemy walked up to her. So she will impale and then run away. I think that is a cool like difference. This guy will move toward you in order so that he can ravage. But she will impale like defensively and then skitter away. That is really cool. So like she is very defensive. She has medium armor instead of heavy, and then 170 hit points, and like fewer hit points than average. So I think it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool that she can do that. That is pretty cool. So now I'm thinking, yeah, stalker, like a lot of the cool, like predator and stalker, like cool words also have very bad connotation that I don't want to associate with a hero, you know. Um, So I like the fantasy of skittering away 8 spaces because like that's super duper cool. So if she's able to skitter away that much, then I don't think we need web weave. It's like maybe her skitter. Um, okay, let's do this. Let's do this. Creatures she hits are yeah. Let's do this. Yeah, we're cooking now, guys. We're definitely cooking now. Legendary stat block. Let's move that down. Okay, so so having too much stuff is like too many. I know what I'm thinking. It's just hard to put it in words. Okay, creatures. Let's say on hit. Creatures she hits are entangled in sticky web. And dazed. Okay, dazed. Yeah. Okay, that is really cool. Cool and flavorful. Flammable webs, fire critical hits, suppress Broodmother's web weave for 2 turns. 2. Is it 2 of the player's turns? Yeah. 2 of her turns? Yeah, 2 of her turns. That makes sense. So now we don't need that. So we want her to be moving away. So she should be most dangerous at range, not at not up close. So I almost think this should be her smaller attack, and then shoot should be her larger attack. See Terry's comment above for typo. Note spiderling minions double plural in the blighted ability. Yeah. All of this stuff will be taken care of, but I appreciate it. Angela appreciates it too, I'm sure, since she's gonna be helping me with the editing. All of these are like raw and unedited. I'm still working on that. Okay, so let's imagine everybody that we are fighting Shelob or Queen Aranya Broodmother. Maybe she isn't a skirmisher. Maybe she is more of a brawler. Like she wants to be up close and personal with the right with the right creatures, you know. Like her skittering away isn't like a lot of fun. So what should this fight feel like is the question. Let's go get some minis. All right, we're getting some minis. Let's think this through. Here we go. There we go. Let's get some minis out. the fight should feel claustrophobic and overwhelming. Maybe. Like, I feel like it should be like the webs and extra spiders should be like a big thing, big part of it, because she is the brood mother. She's the queen of spiders, the matriarch of spiders. Okay, so let's. I think this should work. Look at that. Look at our technology. Okay, so sorry guys. I'm trying to get it so that the camera doesn't shake every time something happens. There you go. That should be good. Okay, so and just so you guys can see, I'll turn all the guys sort of sideways. All right, so we've got, let's say we've got like a berserker and wait, 2 berserkers. Can't have that. Berserker and a commander and a mage or a shadowmancer and a mage. All right, so okay, so how should this fight feel? Well, the berserker wants to like just run up to her and start smacking her. What's to stop him from doing that? Well, she can impale. Like she doesn't want to be in melee with the berserker. Like she is not that kind of a creature, I don't think. Like she doesn't mind being in melee with like either one of these 2 guys. And that's perfectly fine. But she doesn't want to be in melee with those 2. So let's say like like they're starting off something like that. So he'll smack her, and then she's probably going to like impale him. Maybe the impale knocks prone or restrains or something else, or impale and then inwebs him with her weave web, and then she's going to run away. Like that makes sense as an ability. So if this impale deals too much damage, if impale deals too much damage, then like me as a GM, I want her to stay here and stay toe to toe because that's what's dealing most damage. Okay, so let's think about her shoot web, her ranged ability. So she like maybe she runs away this way and she just wants to be around nobody, and so she'll start shooting webs at them. Is that what she wants to do? Like, is that her ideal thing? I don't know. So what if, so something that I'm thinking, let's go back to this. So something that I'm thinking, what if she's a little bit different? So like the guidelines of like a high damaging attack and then like a lower damaging attack, the guidelines, they're just guidelines. We could break them, like we made them, right? We made them. So so what if, I always think of stinky and dirty. If you guys have, if anybody has kids, knows what that is. So what if she has just 2 medium attacks? So she doesn't really care if she's at range or in melee. She just cares like who is in melee with her and at range with her. So rather than having an attack that deals 26 and 13 damage, what if she just has something that deals the average? So she always deals the same amount of damage regardless. So 26 plus 1, 3 divided by 2. It's like what if she just deals like 18 damage no matter where she is? I think that is kind of cool. So she's not dealing a ton of damage, but she is very much a controller. So let's rethink that to 18 damage. Okay, so D8. So 2d8 plus 10. That feels about right. 2d8 plus 10. 2d8 plus 10. 2d8 plus 10. I think we're going the right direction. So this kind of thing is pretty cool. But like, how do you fight something on the ceiling and all this sort of stuff? Like, I don't love that. But she should definitely be able to ignore difficult terrain, because like, how do you even play like, oh, she's on the wall, she's on the ceiling? Like, it becomes just a little bit unfun to actually play. Yeah. So yeah, maybe she's sort of like this this flexible type of combatant where she doesn't care if she's in melee or at ranged. I feel like shoot web would not be like particularly, that wouldn't hurt a whole lot. So it has to be something other than shoot web. It might be like spit venom or something. Yeah. Perhaps give her an action to summon 2 minions. Yeah, that might be what it is. That might need to be what it is. 1d8. So like I think her minion size should be d8 because 8 is her thing. And then at 80 hit points, and this should be 160. So yeah, like let's go ahead and go in on the theme. So like everything is a multiple of 8. So Impale should be 2d8 plus 8. And skitter away up to 8 spaces. Yeah, I really like this. I like the direction they're going. So 2d8 plus 8. Where are we? 2d8 plus 8. So it's a less. So it is less than what we have. So it's okay if she also moves. So she skitters away. So if something is in reach, do this and then move. If nothing is in reach, then maybe it could be like hatch. Hatch brood. Yeah, I like that better than. I like that better. When creatures she or one of her brood hit. So like, yeah, what if she did that? So she wouldn't move here. It would be two. Summon 2 spiderling minions. That's cool. Two spiderling minions. When so the question is, because it's a legendary encounter, when would they act? Okay, so we've got an interesting question. So yeah, the spiderling. So yeah, I'm starting to see a really cool thing here. More of a commander type. She already has minions interposed for her. Yeah. Summon 2 adjacent spiderling minions, size 1d8. Okay. So I gotta quit reading chat for just a sec, so I can get these ideas down. And after each hero's turn, it should be choose 1. How's it phrased here? After each hero's turn, choose 1. After each hero's turn, choose 1. Okay, yeah. So that is the same for all of them. So impale. Or this. I like it. I do like how it's skitter away up to 8 spaces. Instead of move away. Okay, so summon 2 adjacent spiderling minions. Is that as good as 2d8 plus 8 damage? Yeah, I think so. So the question is, when do they act? So let's go back to the let's go back to the camera. I wish I had a better way to do this, but so let's go back to the camera, because now we need to see like when things are happening. Disk mode. All right, so move that out of here. All right, so here she is. So she starts way over here, and then we have the heroes. Hooray, the heroes! All right, so the heroes over here. This guy's gonna go over here, and he'll smack her. All right. Oh, he smacked her good. He smacked her, and then let's get the dice out. And I love how her minions are d8s also. Here we go. We got some D8s. I gotta find the right ones. All right, there we go. Okay, they don't fit back in that box. Okay, so turn 1, this guy goes, and now it's her turn. So she is going to impale and then skitter away up to 8 spaces. And he's dazed. Most likely. He might be dazed 1, he might be dazed 2, but he's having a bad time. But he didn't take a whole lot of damage. So my fear is there's going to be the action economy is going to like slow down to a slog. So this is one that we're gonna have to test. And then she's going to so then someone else is going to go. Let's say this guy is going to like just I don't know, like move over here next to his bud so his bud can protect him. And then he's going to like cast a spell. Okay, so there's no enemies next to me or near me, so she can't impale. I'll go ahead and put her. So she can't impale. So she's going to summon 2 adjacent spiderling minions. So this guy, he can either attack the minions, making no progress, or he can attack her. He's probably going to attack. Let's be honest, he's going to attack her. So there's no other dudes. There's no other dudes next to her. So she's going to summon some more spiderling minions. Now they're thinking like, uh-oh. So this guy gets his turn. He's going to run up and maybe do something where like he takes out 2 spiderling minions. So like the question I'm trying to think out, and I'm just sort of playing it out here. The question I'm trying to play out is when should the spiderling minions move? At the end of the round, I think. At the very end of the round. At the end of the round. Okay, Double King says, what worked well for me with a legendary like this is act immediately, but also give the legendary an action to command them all to act again. Use them as weapons. Oh yeah. So either summon or command them to attack. That's cool. Yeah, that is a cool idea. Ooh. And another thing that we can do. Yeah, that might solve our issues. Oh, let's go back here before we start making you guys nauseous. Sorry, guys. You know, if I just moved that, I wouldn't have to move everything. Give me 1 second, guys. My knees. I'll do it later. I forgot I had something over there. What is it? How do other people do that? Like I've got to like swing things around. Okay. So one thing I worry about balance because if there's 2 heroes and she's summoning like a million spiderlings, that's gonna be too many. They're gonna be overwhelmed. Their action economy is going to plummet. So I think we probably don't need this. Whenever one of her brood hits, so I don't think her little spiderlings can entangle and all that sort of stuff. Only she can. I think that's fine. Hatch brood. Summon 1 adjacent spiderling minion per hero. So what if we did that? 5 heroes, you summon 5 spiderlings. Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is down here. So summon 4 spiderling minions per hero. Yeah. So yeah, let me look at the mummy lord. Summons 10 scared minions, d6 within 6 spaces, then slam. Yeah, mummy lord is nasty, absolutely nasty, but it's a level 21 thing. So yeah, mummy lord is real cool. All right. So I think having as one of her abilities, like she's the brood mother, she should be able to command them to attack. Summon 1 spiderling minion per hero. Summon spiderling minions. 1 per hero. 1 per hero. That's nice. 1d8. and it's just D8, size D8. There we go. That reads easy, easy, easy. So do we say they only act when commanded? Okay. So like summoning 4 spiderling minions per hero now that they're D8s is probably too much. So let's do 3. They can interpose for her. I think them being able to interpose for her is probably too much. So we'll leave that out for now, and we can always add that back if we need to. So most of the damage is coming from the spiders that are helping her boys, her spider boys, or girls. All right. So so what is her style? She is a summoner. That makes it. She's the broodmother. If anybody gets near her, poke you and run away. Otherwise, summon babies, babies. There we go. I like that. That makes sense. It's thematic, and it's gonna be fun and unique. Yeah, so damage shouldn't be a problem. Okay, summon 1 spiderling minion per hero. What would that attack? Dinner time. Command your spiderling minions to move up 6 spaces and attack once. All right, so the problem is we have hanging words here. So let's see if we can fix that. Or we can take this down a little bit. Creatures on hit. So I think on crit Dazed Again is probably not needed any longer with all that we have. Action economy is going to be tight enough already. This should be weakness here. Oh. This is ability. This is weakness. There we go. So I'm trying to get this a little bit narrower. There we go. Let's do that. Just so we can see a little bit more of the art, and so that I don't feel too bad about like a single word, then we'll have multiple words. All right, so let's crunch that down. Oh, too much. There we go. Now we're cooking, everybody. I'm really liking this one a lot better. And this feels a lot more spidery, a lot more fun. If I'm being honest. This. Well, it doesn't matter. So generally, the damage that monsters do doesn't matter. The damage type that monsters do don't matter. But the damage that heroes do can sometimes matter against monsters. Notice me sit by. Let's see what's going on. Death Rattle Spiderlings, Web, Difficult Terrain. Maybe. Like they're punished. Like heroes are already punished enough by like spinning their actions, killing minions, and not killing the boss. So I don't want to overly punish them. So I'm gonna be careful about that. Let's see. Okay, now we can pull this in a little bit. We can see a little bit more of the handsome art. We probably pulled that in too far. There we go. There we go. There we go. The brood mother. She's smart, she's strong, she's fast, she's got it all. Look at the battlefield. So yeah, they're already gonna feel like, yeah, so that claustrophobic feeling of like, oh, there's a lot of monsters. Flammable webs, fire critical hits, suppress the brood mother's weave web for 2 turns. So let's check our last stand. So her last stand should be 60, but we have 50. That's probably okay, because she is more vulnerable than others. I think that's okay. They act until then. Yeah, so we don't need to say. So 50 more damage. Until then, summon a single spiderling per hero after each of her turns. Ooh. That's a lot. That's a lot. I like it. So here, so this should probably be 40 then. This is a really cool encounter, and we know that it's going to be quite well balanced because of our math that we did. That is a really cool encounter. Do the spiderlings still interpose? No, but because there's going to be so many of them that the heroes are going to need to address that. Weave web is her ability here. Weave web. So her hits don't. If someone hits her with a fire crit, then she doesn't daze people when she hits. Okay, let's keep going. I really like those changes. Nalzar was one of the first ones that we made. So let's. Oh, I need to add the artist credits on these pages. I need to add the artist credits on these pages. Come on, you guys. You gonna let me get away with that? Don't let me get away with that. Okay. Nalzar. One attack, one attack, one attack. Okay. I do like the idea of having them move. I mean, sometimes the move could be separate. That might be okay. Choose one is fine. So choose twice is probably... Yeah. Choose twice is probably too many things to be using after each hero's turn. Yeah, great job, everyone. Nalzar, Tailswap. When dealt slashing or lightning damage, she may knock a hero within 3 spaces prone. Ooh, that's cool. Torn Wings. Slashing critical hits. Reduce wing buffet save DC by 1. Ooh, that is so cool. I forgot I did that because her wings don't move as much wind. That's so cool. After each of his turn, choose one. There we go. And let's just double check. So she is at level 6. And for like the middle levels, there's additional legendary. So she's level 6. This one's level 6, and then we have level 7, and then level 8, level 9. I guess we just have 2 level 6s. The intent was to have more monsters where there's more time spent playing, and then fewer at the higher levels, because there's fewer sessions played at the higher levels. Okay, so she has 100 and so medium armor, 175. So her hit points are less than expected. So let's go and make it a little bit higher hit points. 180 instead of 175. Strength plus, dex plus, because she doesn't have good int or will saves, because she's a dum-dum. Okay, a wing buffet. Creatures in 8 space cone take 1d12. Okay, so let's just verify the damage. So 13 or 26. So it's going to be, yep, so that is correct. But it is an AoE. So because it's an AoE, it should deal less damage. And you'll be able to do it, yeah. So it should deal substantially less damage if it's an AoE. So yeah, so they should deal like half as much damage. So it should really deal just 1d12 damage. Yeah, that makes sense. They're also knocked prone on a failed DC 12 strength save. Roll advantage if standing behind cover or another hero. Ooh, I like that. Prone creatures only, reach 2. Okay, deal 40, 12 plus 6. I have a feeling that's big damage. So she is basically just moving around, moving and buff it, and trying to set up Devour as desperately as possible. So it should be Devour first, because this is the one she wants to do the most. She wants to eat some people. And if failing that, she wants to do a wing buffet, and failing that, all right, fine, I guess I'll move. And perhaps a wing buffet, because it deals like basically no damage now. She should probably be able to move. 12 spaces is too far. Move 8. So like she's not fighting from the air. So she's moving up to 8 spaces, and then when she lands, she's like she's buffeting the creatures where she lands. And that makes sense. Okay, so she wants to devour, but before she can do that, she's going to knock something prone, because she's not going to like about to chase things down. She doesn't have any forearms, right? Because it's a Drake. I still can't get over how much actual fun encounter design is built right into the monster design. Legendaries especially, it's so time sub. Yeah. Yeah, says regrets fun and easy into it. Yeah, thank you guys, appreciate that. Yeah, a lot of thought goes into, like, the more thought that goes into it now, the less thought that I have to put into it when I'm running it, because I'm building these with the intent to run them, for me to run them, right? And I'm not about to be doing a lot of thinking while I'm GMing, because like my brain is already pegged as much as it possibly can be. Yeah. And not so much simple, but yeah, like I'd rather make one of these than like a big old, like, huge stat block. I won't get out any of those. Okay, so yeah, and just 2 options is better than 3 options, I think, because you got enough other things going. Because you also have like these 2 things that you need to keep in mind. Cool. Okay, so let's look at the save DC. So the save DC should be 13, but we go up 2 steps up to the DC of a level 8, because there's a way to bring her DC down, both by tearing her wings or standing behind cover or another hero, right? So there's a way to count. So if we give a way to counteract it, then we can make it harder, right? Which is pretty sweet. So I think we can make this a little bit more. little bit more efficient. They must make a DC 14 strength save, or we're knocked prone. I think we saved like a little bit. We might have saved like a word. With advantage if staying behind cover or another hero. So to counteract wing buffet, you want to like kind of clump up, but also you're like there's gonna be more of the party like in the range of the wing buffet. So yeah, it's an interesting choice. It's not an obvious thing. Okie doke. Let's copy that. Put that here. Align those. I think these little bars sort of give us just a little bit more space. How much do we just have there? I think so. There we go. And let's center all of these. Perfect. And now we could probably make it just a little bit smaller, a little bit more narrow without adding in additional lines. Right? Cool. Because like, look at that big tail. Big long tail. Can we make it any smaller? Let's see. Efficient use of space. Makes it feel better. All right. Ah, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Just ignore that. Okay, guys. I like how that one is. So 180, 60. So let's change 180. So let's change this to 90. 98 points. We don't need this bold. There's so few words already. Nozar is dying at 90. So what should this be? What is half of 90? 45? Yeah. Okay, so that is correct. Level 6. Oh no, it should be 60. Okay, let's check on. Last stand doesn't make sense now. Oh yeah. Good point. Last stand. Don't stand. Don't stand so close to me. Certainly standing on the shoulders of giants. Absolutely. I would definitely say that. 5e is a bad system. Yeah, I mean, we couldn't be where we are without 5e. Or else, I mean, it'd be hard. It'd be hard. Okay, so what could be a last stand? Maybe her wing buffet. And Okay, so without being able to move, we do need to sort of rethink how Devour works, maybe. Then... So should... Okay, so let's think about... let's get the minis out again. Let's go. Like we have to like we're actually like sort of doing wargaming sort of with bloodied wing shredded, lose wing buffet, but gain movement for devour. Yeah, I mean, what if she just all right, forget about wing buffet. Like I'm just eating people. She can devour non-prone creatures. That's kind of cool. I like that. I do like that. That's kind of cool. Yeah, she just starts running around and chomping people. Okay, so she's running, so it wouldn't be as fast as her flight, so she can move up to 6 spaces then devour. Okay, now Zar's dying, she's more damage, she dies. Until then, each turn, she moves up to 6 spaces, then uses devour. I like that. That's scary. That's pretty scary. Yep. Yeah, maybe we can add like the flavor here, like this one, avenge your queen, my brood. Like that is kind of cool. Wings shredded. Yeah, it might just add more confusion than. I feel like 21 wings would render DC pretty fast. It could. But like if they're doing that, then she can knock heroes prone. So like she can like if they're slashing, or that kind of thing. So she can knock the creatures. So like someone comes up and slashes the wings, she knocks them prone. And then she like if they're that close, like Devour has reach too. Like she can just like eat the. And maybe it should have a reach 3. I don't know. But so if they're doing that, like yes, it lowers the DC, but they also get knocked prone. Hey Bruno, good to see you, man. Yeah, I think it's okay. Like I don't know that it needs a minimum, because like some classes are rolling their strength save with disadvantage like all the time anyway. So like even like a 5 or 6 or 7 DC is like hard for some classes. The inside energy people. Okay, so let's go to Florindris, Bane of the Forest. So she is our first. She's our first dragon. Maybe one of 2 dragons. I was about to say the only dragon. Okay, so this is one that received a lot of change between the first couple drafts and playtesting. Because playtesting, I was like, "Oh, this is unfun." And the optimal way for me as a GM to play was like the opposite of the fantasy of this dragon, which is unfun. Okay, so she is a wind dragon. Ranged attacks against you have disadvantage. She just has this aura. End of turn, push adjacent creatures 2 spaces away. That's pretty cool. Wither, resistant to necrotic damage, but okay, so she is resistant to necrotic damage, but it suppresses her aura of wind for a turn. Oh, it makes her wither. Ooh, that's cool. Like, it's been so long since I've written this that I feel like someone else wrote it. You know, I forget what I write. Actions after each hero's turn. So it should just be choose once. Choose one. Petal Storm. Okay, so it is in the order of what we want. Petal Storm, one-time use, and I think elsewhere we say single use, one-time use, one-time use. Okay, so we do need to, and I'm sure Angela would find this error and fix it, or this consistency thing and help me fix it, but why not just go ahead and fix it? Okay, so one-time use, you know, I think one-time use. Do we need one time, or can we just say one use? You don't like the name? What, Florindris? It is sort of like floral. It's a floral dragon, like floral, Florindris. Single use? Better. One use. Okay, you guys tell me, is one use as clear as one-time use or single use? You guys tell me that. One use is fine. Okay. You don't like how it sounds? Florindris. Yeah, it makes a weird mouth shapes and weird mouth sounds. You're not wrong about that. We might rename it. Don't worry. It's possible. It's possible. We just I gotta fix my boy Ravager. I don't want to get ravaged. Okay, I'm gonna renaming binge apparently. All right. I mean, Maleficist, feel free to make some suggestions if you want. Flavor sidebar should be flavor sidebar. It should be monster name. Right? Monster name? Monster header. Sorry guys, I'm just finding some little tiny layout things that I need. I either have to do it now or I'll just honestly I'll forget later, and then it won't happen. Florindris, Florecita. We could call her Florecita. That'd be kind of cool. Flo, yeah, she might not like that. Okay, so she's a floral dragon, Bane of the Forest, Aura of Wind. Ranged attacks against you have disadvantage. Okay, we got that. Wither, resistant to necrotic damage, but it suppresses. Okay, that's cool. After each hero's turn, choose one. So it was choose two, so we need to sort of rethink things. Just perhaps just a little bit. So real quick, let's just make sure our numbers are you know, approximately like good enough. So she is very much a so if this guy's a brawler, she is a skirmisher, like more of a dainty controller type of thing. So that was a fantasy I had in my head, at least. Okay, so she has medium armor, 200 hit points. Last stand, 70. Okay, so it looks like we're doing fine. Petal Storm. One-time use, creature within 6 spaces. So we could just say reach 6. 4d10 plus 4 damage. Half on a DC 13 dex save. There we go. Okay, 4d10 plus 4. Okay, first of all, let's see how much damage that is. 4d10 plus 4. It's going to be 26 damage. 28 damage. Okay, so it's an AoE, dealing big damage, which is fine. That feels about right. Thornbloom, Vesper Flora. That reminds me of Vespin something in that they have in Critical Role. Gotta be careful about that kind of thing. I like the name, like Vespa, like as a name, like the scooter. Like that. That's just a cool thing. Brings about good feelings. Okay, Rind. Okay, so she wants to do this first. This is her highest damaging ability. Vespin Chloris, that. Yeah. Vesper Flora, Vespin Chloris. That's different. It's different-ish. I mean, I'll come up with a cool name if I do change it. I don't know. Rind, fly up to 12. Okay, so dragons do have a cool thing. Is the one in Clerk Roll? Yeah. Yeah, I remember. Haven't come with Clerk Roll. Yeah, I mean, I've seen just a few of the episodes. They're a little bit too crude for me. If there was like some sort of like VidAngel type of thing for Critical Role, I'd probably watch it more often. But a little bit too crude and long-winded. It like as far as like GM Academy though, like it's great GM Academy. Rind, fly up to 12. Flying up to 12 is probably too far. It's 2 movement. Let's do 10 because we did an attack for 2d10 plus 4 damage. On damage, target gains Pollen Blight. So something cool about the dragons is all dragons, they like apply debuffs, like a thematic debuff. So Pollen Blight, the other one has like some other cool thing. Force movement also knocks you prone. Magical healing ends this effect. So she wants to use Petal Storm, and then she wants to use Rind. And then she's going to use Gust. Reach 4. So 1d10 plus 4 damage and move that many spaces. That feels pretty cool. Aether Bloom? I think that's a thing. Like Aether Bloom? I thought it was like a magic card or something. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. Aether, like Bloom something sounds cool. Like Vinge Bloom or Bloom Indris. I'll figure something out. Okay, so it should be So if she's a skirmisher, if we have a guy here, all right. So we got a dude here. We got a berserker. Let's get the dragon. Here we go. Oh, here's Florindus. Here we go. All right, I've got a bunch of minis up there too. All right, So here's Florindress. And we have a dude run up to. She doesn't like that. Right? She doesn't like that. I know what irks me about Florindress. It's the hard cutoff between Florindress. Floriandress sounds better. Floriandress? Sounds like furry. Furry? I don't know. Floor. All right. So let's think about this battle. Okay. So how does this battle go? Dragon is like, get out of my forest, whatever. All right. So all the good guys are over here. So Berserker goes first. He runs up, smacks her. And then she has Aura of Wind. Range attacks have disadvantage. Okay, fine. End of turn. Push adjacent creatures 2 spaces away. Okay, so he gets pushed 2 spaces away. So in order for her to do Rend, she has to fly up to 10, which is really just like she flies there, and then she bites and gets Pollen Blight. So what if? Okay, so what if it was this? Let's keep reading. 1d10 plus 4 damage moved that many spaces. So her whole thing is moving. So a lot of her damage is like pushing people away, forcing them to use range attacks, which have disadvantage against her. This is her like sort of self-preservation thing. Push things away, get away from me. Forced movement also knocks you prone. So how is she going to deal damage? By pushing creatures into objects. Like that's where a lot of her damage is going to come from. But that is also going to depend on, like, if this takes place in open field, she doesn't have anything to push you into. So we need to think about that. Forced movement. So instead of forced movement also knocks you prone, Pollen Blight could do forced movement also. Forced movement, I think forced movement should just deal extra damage instead of knock you prone, because we're already moving and doing things. We don't need like to be spending more movement. I will be right back, guys. I gotta use the bathroom real quick. Yes, I washed my hands. Okay. What if she also created a spike growth like effect? Ooh, I like that. As creatures move. Yeah, so that makes sense. Yeah. So they take damage being pushed away and must choose to take damage. Again, going once more. If the teacher doesn't show up in 15 minutes, we're legally allowed to leave. All right, attack at range with disadvantage. Maybe she could have a way to lock one person in place near her while pushing others away, like a grasping vine type of thing. Ooh. Maybe Pollen Blight means like instead of forced movement, Like, yeah, like where like, she's not just a skirmisher, like she's also a predator in that like she can like lock one person down. Yeah, we gotta be careful about picking on someone too much, but like what if like Pollen Blight is you instead of forced movement, you don't move, you just take extra damage instead of forced movement. That's cool. And look, isn't that pretty cool? Like this is a young moonstone dragon, but it's kind of Florentrisy. She'd slam heroes around with forced movement damage. Yeah. I like the spike growth thing. Like she's a floral dragon. Like Petal Storm is a cool thing. Rend is a cool thing. So this is something that like how would Florindris hunt? So like right now, how would this play out? She flies in the middle of everybody, uses Petal Storm, damages a bunch of people, good chunk of damage. The melee guys come up, they smack her. Now it's her turn again. She will. Yeah, so it doesn't make sense that she would rend, she would fly and then rend. It should be that she attacks. So let's say rend. Yeah, she wouldn't have. Okay, so let's say end of turn, push adjacent creatures one space away. Okay. I am out of your reach, but you're not out of my reach. So rend could have a reach of 2. Reach of 2. Yeah, dazed from floral poison is cool. Okay, so reach of 2. But she would deal. We don't need to. So I'm just looking at the art. So her claws look. She's got like long arms and claws and stuff. So yeah, maybe. So this isn't a bite. This is a rend. So like yeah, maybe her reach. She could just have 3 reach. That's fine. We can keep it as two spaces away. Because like her mouth, it doesn't look like she is a creature that would like use her mouth and teeth, like tiny little dainty mouth, but big long claws. Okay, so her rend has a reach of 3. It's like not that her arms are like 15 feet long, but like she can like sort of reach and do that kind of thing. A little bit of a lunge strike. So deal 2d10 plus 4 damage. So let's check it. Okay, 2d10 plus 4 damage. 2d10 plus 4 damage. That is a 15 right there. Okay, so that's a small attack. Yeah, so this is their setup attack. 2d10 plus 4 damage. And if it was just 1d10 plus 10, that might be easier. And if this was 3d10 plus 10, that'd be easier also. 1d10 plus 10, 3d10 plus 10. So it's much easier to tell, oh, this deals much more damage than this one. Okay. So how does she want to fight? She wants to, I'll just make a call. She wants to give everything Pollen Blight is how she fights, because Pollen Blight is how she's going to deal her damage. On damage, target gains Pollen Blight. Forced movement also deals you 10 damage. That's cool. Just take 10. You get force movement, take 10. Get close to me, take 10. Gust, take 10. That's kind of neat. Okay, so she's going to rend. And then fly up to 10. Fly up to 10 space away. All right. So how does this fight look? Let's go to the camera. Okay. So how does this fight look? So let's see if it actually plays out a IRL like it does in the head. Okay. So we got a team of good guys. Here's the good guys. So she flies in. She's going to use Petal Storm and deal some damage. So everybody takes damage. What's the reach of Petal Storm? Petal Storm is reach of 6. Okay, so everybody's sort of like within one space or within. So she'll sort of land there and Petal Storm everybody takes the damage. Probably should have a reach of 8, just to give the GM a little bit more flexibility. All right, so I updated reach of 8 for Petal Storm, one-time use. So Berserker Boy, rah, he's going to run in and smack Florindress. She's going to rend him and then fly to the next guy. He might like run away and then like shoot, and then she's going to. Oh, she can't rend now. Okay. Okay, so what does she do if nobody is adjacent to her? Hey, Paul. Lockdown could be just for one turn or something, so she could pick another target the next turn. Some kind of dazed effect from floor poison. I do like that. Picture her hunting like a trapdoor spider. Surprise attack from camouflage. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. But so dazed. So we do have to be careful about dazed. Dazed acts kind of like armor in that it reduces the incoming damage. So it doesn't progress the fight to. It doesn't progress the fight to the end anymore. It slows down the fight. So we do need to be careful about dazing things too much. Okay. Ooh, what about this? What if Aura of Wind? Ooh, I've got a good idea. All right, so what if Gust? Okay, so to answer the question, what happens if nothing is near you? You can reach 8. Like you can gust, like you can bring someone to you. That's kind of cool. You know, you can move them that far. So 1d10 plus 4. So that is, yeah, that's kind of cool. So you gust them toward you, and then they'll do whatever. And then on your turn, you can rend. So she does need some way to move, like just so. Fly up to 10 spaces before or after. Okay, flip 10 spaces before or after attacking. So maybe rend is the one. All right. So gust. So most of her damage is going to be coming from rend and her aura of wind. So end of turn, push adjacent creatures 2 space away. So she does not want creatures within 2 spaces of her. She wants creatures at range. Let's take a look at the other dragon. Ooh, I do like this. Monster ability B. All right, so let's do that real quick, just for clarity. Target gains pollen blight. So let's do this. Bam. Okay, pollen. So okay, so easier. It's just easier to read. Forced movement also deals you 5 damage for each space moved. There we go. That's cool. Magical healing ends this effect. Okay, yeah, that's cool. It's good to have some counteraction to it. If the aura affects all except one of her choice, maybe that doesn't make as much sense, because if she just has the aura of wind, it's like wind is sort of like. I think we're getting there. Okay, so gust deals no damage. Okay, move. So should yeah, move. Hey. Okay, so what if it was just so gust only moves, and aura of wind only moves? Then healing is really, really good. That might be good. That might be okay. Ah, suffer 5 damage for each space you are forcibly moved. We got there, everybody. Let's go back down to this guy. How is it? Okay, so it's right in the middle. Gust reach 8, move a target 1d10 spaces. Yeah. Yeah, we could just say this. You're having difficulty imagine a visual like what pollen blight is, like physically what to describe to many players. Yeah, let's probably a different name is better than pollen blight now that it does something different. So it might be called like not pollen blight, something else like spikes, something spikes. Might be a bigger issue, but Petal Storm and a bunch of similar formatted spells is not clear whether a person. Curse of Thorns? Yeah, Curse of Thorns sounds cool. I think the same wording is being used with a bunch of spells. How long does Pollen Blight? Double King, could you send me a DM with that? I'm not following you. Send me a DM. Thorngrave. Yeah, Thorn something sounds cool. Thornblight. Yeah, Thornblight. Thornblight is better. I don't know if it's the end one we're gonna land on. I mean, like just Thornblight alone. Like, oh, you got Thornblight every time you move. Blam blam blam. It's better. Flop to 10 spaces before or after attacking. Okay, so Rend. Let's do this. So we went to Petal Storm, then Gust. No, we probably wanted that. So we want to do this. If that's available, then we went to Rend. So Rend on average is going to deal 15 damage, roughly 15 damage. Not a lot of damage, but the point is the buff, the debuff. Okay, and then Gust is going to move a target. When do you hit? So 5 or 6 spaces, so so it's gonna be like 25 damage on average. Yeah, 25, 30 damage. Perfect. Yeah, that's perfect. And then eventually, like once a bunch of people are have Thornblight or whatever we end up calling it, then that's kind of cool. Till then. Until she moves creatures twice as far. That's kind of cool. It's nasty. What if Thornblight was 2 damage but applied to all movement? I think that would be unfun. I think that would be a little bit unfun. And a little bit mathy. 2, 4, 6, 8. I'll take 8 damage. And then like she moves me, all right, I'm gonna take another 4 damage. And then she does this attack, all right, I'm gonna take another 4 damage. And so yeah, like I want people to be able to do their things. I don't want them to be punished for doing their things. I want the bad guy to punish them for daring to fight. Yeah, that kind of thing. Okay, this is feeling pretty cool. All right, let's think it through. Petal Storm deals a bunch of damage. Just like softening people up. Probably should have, like, reach 8 is in parentheses here. 3d10 plus 10 damage, that's easy enough to do. 1d10 plus 10 damage, and then 1d10. Target gains a pollen blight. Fly up to 10 spaces before or after attacking, and then you're gusting them around. Yeah, so like for melee characters, like yeah, I rend them once, and like I don't really care to rend them again because they're gonna go down from my aura of wind. Right. I even might want to fly. I might even want to fly near a group of melee guys once I've rendered them, just so I can like after I've rendered them, just so I can like move them, like deal another 10 damage to both of them. Foot of snow off the driveway. Oof, that's rough. Gust on a PC with Thornblight after last stand could deal 100 damage if you roll a 10. It's a big hit. It's a big hit. It is. Yeah, it might be overtuned. Might be overtuned. You roll a 1 though. Like you spin your turn, you roll a 1, you deal 10 damage. So like on average, but also like magical healing ends this effect. So like this is one that'll have to be play tested. This is not one that can just be. This is not one that can just be theory crafted too much, right? So I think I'm gonna call that good for now. Can we make the layout any better by making it smaller? Let's see. Excuse me. Sorry, everybody. Does this work? I don't think this works. Hey, it works. Perfect. That is the jankiest way to do that. Yeah, I do like thorns, the concept of thorns with this floral dragon. I feel like that fits it better than pollen. The jank, though? What's the jank? I don't know what that means. Oh, yeah. There we go. I think that's probably the. There we go. Cool. I don't know if I told you guys the monster cards, the legendary monster cards, are going to be twice as big as like a regular card, or like roughly twice as big. Maybe like a little bit bigger than twice as big. So like if this is disc face. So if this is like, so this is the size of like a regular like a magic playing card. It's upside down. The legendary monster cards are going to be like twice as big or like a little bit bigger in some sort of way. So even larger than even larger than like the tarot sized cards. Tarot cards are like roughly this size, but like narrow and tall for some reason. It's a really weird layout. But it's gonna be roughly twice as big as a regular thing. Okay. Yeah, I like this. Then are we gonna have to? We're gonna have to do this. Cool. There we go. Ren still has a reference to pollen blight. No, it doesn't. I don't know what you're talking about. There we go. Thanks. I appreciate it. Okay. Ghost. There we go. All right, I'm feeling pretty good about Florindris. Or whatever her name ends up being. Maleficent. All right, so I don't think I'm gonna go as deep on these next ones. I'm just gonna check them for, see if they have any like multi-attack nonsense. I think this guy's okay. After you choose turn, Bane attacks and Veil chooses one. So that is 2 attacks, which is what we want to avoid. Let's actually, let's double check and make sure the numbers on here are correct. Level 8. Oh, sorry. Level, you guys can't see that. Level 8, 175, 80 hit points, 15 and 30. Okay. It's 20, 30. Oh, his attacks only do 30 damage, I think. Move a 2 space and then strike. 2d10. That's 10. Oh, it's 20 because it's 20 damage. Okay, so this is 20 and 20. That's okay. That's sort of like another average thing. But it's an AoE. Yeah, I like it. So Veil Undying does have... Veil Undying does have 2 attacks, which I don't like. Why is this? Oh, I can just do this. There we go. That fixes it. Okay. So his Spirit Companion deals 1d12 plus 6. Let's see what that is. What is that, 12? Yes, 12 damage. So we want him to be doing, so he is a level 9. So 12 damage. Okay, so Bane attacks every turn. And then Veil chooses one. So I'm going to say Bane is he attacking for 12. Doom. Okay, so let's bring this range down to 12. This range down to 8. Okay, so it's supposed to be 16 or 32. 32 with d12s. 4d12 plus 6, or like 5d12. Okay, so we have 5d12. Okay, that's only an undamaged target. Okay, so he, if possible, he wants to doom. Okay. Veilwalker's Rebuke, range 8. 2d12 plus 6, that's 3d12. Gotta go. Okay, hey, thanks for hanging out. So I want the Spirit Companion to be a cool thing without it being fiddly. So let's go over to this. So like I want there to be a reason for it other than okay, so let's ignore the Spirit Companion for now. Maybe he is like only a protective companion and not like a damaging boy. Cruelty's Edge, do it 1d4 plus 2 damage. One hit, target is dazed. This one's tough. Okay, so he is a Shepherd of Death. This is tricky. I might come back to this one. I might come back to him. Overall, it's fine, but a little bit fiddly. I think it's fine though. Titan of the Deep Woods. Something happened to his formatting. Right, so let's fix his formatting just a bit, and then I think we can center this to make it just look a little bit less crowded. Oh, and there's no wit anymore. We'll just give him. He's super good strength. Splintering Legions, bludgeoning measure or crits, cause his bones to splinter off and animate, forming a D10 minion. Oh, that's cool. Resistant to piercing, vulnerable to bludgeoning. Yeah, that's good. I was just thinking of possibly giving, instead of resistant and vulnerability, giving disadvantage and advantage, but I think this works out mechanically better. After you choose turn, choose one. So I've got to push this button because it's supposed to be italicized. Crushing Stomp, move up to 10. Do we need to say spaces or just move up to 10 is fine? 10 spaces is fine. Deal 1d4 plus 20 damage to up to 2 targets along the path. On hit, prone. Yeah, he's solid. He's solid already. Rhythmicus just we might need to come back to him. All right, so I'm starting to lose focus just a little bit. I can feel my brain going. So I think we're gonna Paul Branson, Brand son, Do legendary minions attack every turn or once and then? So there's no such thing as legendary minions. There's just minions. There's legendary monsters and minions. Um, and minions are just regular monsters. They attack once per round. But Queen Aranya, for instance, is one of the legendary monsters that summons minions. It specifically says these minions act only when commanded. So she has an ability called Dinner Time, which I might tweak, and she commands her spiderling minions to do things. So I can feel myself slipping. So let's see if we can change it up a little bit, or I might just go and end the stream. So I'm working on this one. Wind roll, wind natural, we got that. How much gold or treasures? That's on the docket. How many encounters to run per adventure day? I think we've got that already. Quick reference tables or sheets. We will have that. That's going to be just the stuff in the GM screen, basically. Adding detailed examples to the skill challenges section. Might add that. I'll leave that unchecked for now. Templates for traps, puzzles. Maybe. Yeah, so we'll have table of contents. So that's already in the docket. Well, I don't need a reminder of that. Steal from different sources. Yeah, that's a good thing. Don't underprepare. I think we've got that already. Curb expedition. I think that's good advice, but I don't know if it needs to be in the book. Additional encounter building advice. Yeah, we got a bunch of those. Yeah. Side objectives. Yeah, so we got a bunch of that. Fix this. Playtesting guidance. I think we're good there. Recommended music. We'll check that off. Okay. Angela, my left mist. I want to collaborate with you on. Okay, cool. Sean Donahue. Please, can we get GM advice when a PC dies? Restart at first or same level? Oh yeah, advice for when a PC dies. Sure. Yep. Absolutely. Got some good advice there. Okay, guys. I think I'm gonna call it there. My brain is starting to go all fuzzy on me. So. Thank you so much for hanging out. It was a lot of fun. And I think I'm going to be doing streams like every day for the next while until we release it, basically. Don't hold me to that, but at least that's the plan for right now. So, all right, guys.